Alright, so we are here with the now two-time Dakar champion, Toby Price.
Ah, thank you. Round of applause.
This is, like we just joked on the little Instagram live, this is the one serious chat we have a year, it seems.
Thank gosh.
So, I know. Feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what? I love to give you shit, but this whole broken wrist thing, and then you win, it's like, I'd be even more of a dick than normal. Like, normally I can handle being a dick at the expense of, like, taking the piss, but this time, like, if I really took the piss, like, I would legitimately be an asshole. Because you did good.
Somewhere along the way I did good, mate, but keep giving cheek and I'll choke you out, alright? So it's alright.
I wish you could choke me out. I'm still ready for that, actually.
Oh God. What do you do again? What is it called?
Shoezitsu. So I throw shoes at people.
Yeah, that's it, righto. Cool.
No, but seriously, this is a massive one, because I got the impression that you legitimately didn't think you could win this race when you left. I got the impression that you would have been very surprised if you finished this race. Yeah,
100%. Though for sure, I said to myself, I don't even think I'll get to the halfway mark at one point there. So I'm always hoping, and you're all not like hoping, but you're always wishing and you want to win the race for sure. It's our most important one of the year, and the one you need to do the best result possible, and it's the one that kind of goes on your scorecard, the best for the best result for the year, and starts a year off well. So I left, and I was sitting on that plane. I don't even think the wheels had left Brisbane yet, and for sure it was just I didn't know what I was putting myself in for. So I kind of just set out that if I could get to day 3, day 4, maybe I'd be pretty stoked, and then just see what the wrist did and where we were at with that. And then we had a couple of tough stages there on 3 and 4, and definitely the thought crossed the mind. And we got to a few compulsory fuel stops and that we got to do, and some other guys that had some issues for the day and got lost, and we were still well within the fight there in day 3 and 4. So it was just basically, had to grit the teeth and put the helmet back on and continue on. And then, I was planning to try and make the halfway mark, which is the rest day. And, we were just able to get the wrist to calm down a little bit in that day off. And then, by the end of that rest day, I just thought, well, we're at the halfway mark now. We're only got to do that half again. And then, past the point of no return. So it's just saddle up and go again.
Was it literally a matter of, like, every day was just like this new little mental thing that you got to? You're like, all right, if I can just get to the end of this, then I'll just see how I go. And then you're like, all right, I got here, so I could probably just go that little bit further. And then you do that. Was it just this constant mind game to just tick those boxes and push through the pain?
Yeah, pretty much. It was just trying to get through every day and just kind of sort ourselves out, and try and situate us in a good spot and a good area for the next day to start the next day of rally. So it was just it was a tough old slog every day. It just seemed to add up more and more on the wrist, and more pain, more torture on it, and it was just a tough old slog. And it was but like everything, the team was unreal. They were unreal with everything, and they definitely weren't forcing me and pushing me to go. And they were more so saying, hey, that's probably enough. Like, it's enough.
Really?
Enough to get over and finish the race. And but I don't know. I just don't like stopping, don't quit. And we just decided to keep lining up every day.
Yeah, and like, it's like I said at the start, like, I love giving you shit, and you know I do, but like, I saw when you came back from Spain where you had the operation, and like, we saw the video that you sent of like the surgeon moving your wrist. Like, it was a super legit wrist injury. Like, if it was like a cracked ulnar or radius, and then you could have a bit of a cast on, and then you go out and you tough it out, but this is like it's in the joint, man. And like for anyone that's done a scaphoid, like I hurt my wrist with that poxy crash at Ives at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And like, well, you can tell that story if you want. That's a good bit of payback for me.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
And then like, but my wrist still hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, in that joint, when you do damage to that, that's a really big deal. Even Matty was joking that he always complains every time he rides with you that his wrist is sore from his scaphoid that he broke probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a bad injury.
Yeah, well, I hope I'm not going to have that same issue 5 years down the track and
Wouldn't
still have that.
Wouldn't be surprised, bro. You just did a 10-day rally on a broken wrist.
Yeah, I know. So I've probably caused some permanent damage. But yeah, look, we'll get some scans and some X-rays, and luckily enough, we've got some good doctors in our corner over in Spain through the Red Bull KTM side, and yeah, we know a few riders here in Australia that have seen a doctor, Steve Andrews here and stuff. So yeah, look, we're going to try and see if we can get an appointment there and just fire into it and just take it as it comes really and see what the outcome will be. So yeah, at the moment it's just like I've just barely got no movement with the wrist now, so it's pretty much very limited to twist the throttle on and very limited to try and get the wrist to bend down, but it's just one of them things. It's the way it is, and I'm pretty sure every motorcycle rider's riding with some type of niggling injury along the way, and we've definitely all been through an injury, that's for sure. But it's just it's hard to try and put up with one from day one, the start of a race, and try and carry through.
And so people, you kept it pretty quiet, obviously, like being a dude that's a front runner in the event, you're not exactly going to try and broadcast the fact that like how bad the injury is. But basically, to let people know, you did a road ride with Dad on this. What did you ride, your Super Duke? Or?
Yeah, I just rode my Super Duke basically for probably about 150 Ks on tarmac. Basically, so that's the first ride back. That was like the first ride on a motorcycle. So I had the injury, done the injury in Abu Dhabi. Basically, the next day I went and flew out straight. I was meant to fly home to Australia, so I was more cheesed off and everything and angry at that I wasn't coming home to try and get everything sorted and prepped and ready for Dakar. So. But yeah, at the end of the day, I had a wrist injury and I had to go to Spain. So I went and seen the doctor there, and they threw me in pretty much straight away for the surgery, and put that, I think they call it hexcus screw or something, I think it's called, whatever, and basically just screwed the scaphoid back together so it wasn't spread apart, or given it its best chance to try and heal, I guess, in 3.5-4 weeks before the race started. So the doctor there said he was confident that I'd start the race, but he said I can't guarantee what it's going to feel like after the 10 days of race. It's just how you feel, and away you go. So he's done surgeries on MotoGP riders and stuff, and they've had the surgery on the Monday, and then they've raced done the practice and qualifying and racing and everything on the Saturday, Sunday. So like a week later, but that's playing with a motorcycle that's on tarmac, so there's no bumps.
And for 1 day.
And for 1 day of racing. So, they said it was definitely possible to ride, but they just didn't know how long it would actually put up with the punishment. So it was definitely no doubt in actually getting to the start line, but just the biggest doubt was not knowing what my result would have been, and I definitely didn't want to go over there and just try and finish a race and then be sitting back in 30th place and whatnot. But then at the end of the day, you got to think about the health a little bit. But we're just, every day that ticked off, we're still in the hunt and in the running for being on a podium. We're in the top 5. So it showed that we were still doing the right things. But I still, even till probably day 8 or maybe day 9, like it was not really then until I started to think we could still be within a chance to try and win the thing. So we just like I say, you just had to keep saddling up and try and get the job done. So
you did the road ride, which was like probably 150 Ks on the Super Duke, and then you did 1 day at QMP, right? So I just did basically 1 day at QMP. So we did the road ride the day before, just to see how the hand would feel, what it would do, how it would flare up overnight. Because you were getting it was real tingly and numb, wasn't it? Yeah, well, still at the moment, like I've still got like the pad, I guess, part of the thumb
I've still got a bit of numb feeling on that. And then after the day of road riding, I was just getting like a bit of a numb hand, numb fingers and stuff. So I just thought straight away from the start, just riding on the road, I was going to be in for a mission. But I got back home and just basically did the same thing, just iced everything up and tried to relax and just try and get a bit of movement back into it. And then loaded the bike up for the next day and went out to QMP. And luckily enough, I made a call through to Stephen Gall. He had a free day that he'd kind of
did the wrist brace stuff.
Did the wrist brace stuff on that with us. So he
did that help in the race?
Yeah, for sure. That
you
thing
can really feel it, eh? Because Kenny still runs it. I think on both now.
I think he runs them on both. So it limits your movement. So it's not the greatest thing to be trying to ride with on a motorcycle, because you need a lot of wrist movement to ever how the angle of the motorcycle is going to go. So it was just I just knew if my wrist went past a certain point, like backwards, if it just stretched too much, it would have put me out of the race straight away. So Gawley come out, basically just we tried to ride just with some strapping tape first, just to see how it would feel. And basically I did 5 laps around QMP on the motocross track, and the thing started to flare up pretty quickly. So we then added a little bit more strapping tape just to try and make it a bit firmer and just see if we could get more laps in that area, in that direction, which I think we ended up being about the same amount of laps, was 5-6 laps. And then that's when then Gawley pretty much brought out the wrist brace and said we'll run with this and just see how it goes. So basically just kind of goes up the forearm a little bit, and instead of just putting a whole heap of load through the wrist, it kind of spreads the load from the hand up into the forearm, so it just reduces the amount of movement. And then it just took away that little bit of a sharp stabbing pain of being like pushing straight through into the handlebars. And without that thing, I think would have been virtually impossible, because like there in the rally there, a lot of things can come up unknown, and if you drop off a dune, a bit further on in the talk, we can definitely go into what Pablo did in the last day. If I did that on day 1 or day 10, for sure, I would probably nearly be stopping right there. So, but then a drop like that, you're going to do a lot of other damage as well. So it's just we just try to minimise, trying to basically take away as much as we could where we could, and put up with it.
So like, what was your headspace like on that plane over? Because there's definitely been like, you have like the Toby Price winning Dakar the first time, you got third, like it was sort of this fairy tale run for like the first 2 years. And it's like, oh, this is a cakewalk. Like, this is just going to be my thing, and I'm just going to win this shit, and happy days. And then the FEMA happened. Then it was a really tough year in between the FEMA, and then you bounce back for another podium, and then this year flying over. It's like, what was the headspace to go like, fuck, am I doing this again in this same way? Yeah,
100%. That was pretty much it. I don't know, I haven't really ever been able to start a Dakar perfectly 100% healthy. And
would it be in the first 2 years, were you pretty healthy going into it?
Yeah, the first 2 were not too bad. Definitely the first one, when I got the third, we were definitely healthy and everything, but we were just a new kid on the block, really, and didn't know.
Did you go, sorry to cut you off, but that first third that you got, like, did you go all the way hard, or did you have something in the back of your head that, like, you weren't really allowed to beat Comma?
It wasn't that it wasn't really allowed to beat Coma or nothing, but it was just I still had stuff in the tank when I finished third that first year, but I think if I rode any quicker than what I was for that first one, I probably may not have finished the thing. So it just, like I say, I was a new kid on the block. I didn't still quite understand the rally, because before we went into that first Dakar, I'd only done one other rally prior to that and 2 weeks of training, and that was about it. So I did 2 weeks training over in Spain, then went and raced Morocco, which was my first ever navigation race anywhere in the world, And then basically that then turned into you've done well. You finished. I think it was like an 8th place finish there at the first one in Morocco.
And like when you finished 8th, are you riding around pretty slow for like what you're used to? Because like my yardstick is Fink.
Yeah.
Like that's where I've filmed you going your fastest, and that shit is just like blows my mind.
Pinned and wide open.
So it's like for you to get 8th at that first route, like are you just literally looking around like where the fuck do I even go? You know what I mean? Like how slow did that feel to get 8th?
Yeah, like it 100%. It definitely wasn't slow because my very first rally, like I say, it still came down to the navigation. I didn't quite understand it and know it at that point. So I was still thinking, yeah, this is no problem. I'm just take it like Fink and wide open, full gas, and I'll just catch guys and I'll see dust and it'll be all good. And I ended up making a lot of mistakes, going the wrong direction along the way, and so I probably lost a lot of time in the wrong direction, but I was pinned and wide open. But then started to realise it doesn't kind of work like this. It's more of a strategy, and then also just knowing when you can and can't push, and just trying to work it out from there. And that was about pretty much what I learnt from that first one. And then it was just, you don't need to be at the front of the front pack every single day of the race, and that was about it. So,
which has to be like a weird adjustment for you, because in the desert racing stuff, it's only about being out the front. Yeah,
well, especially like with Fink, it's just basically in Fink and Hadar, it's like the quicker you can get the 6th gear and be pinned,
and just stay there,
then just wedge the thing and hang on to it. That's pretty much all I knew. So it was like, as soon as you try and transfer that into like the rally and Dakar and stuff, it just doesn't quite work that way. So you can start pulling gears and going for it, but you make one navigation error and then go 3 kilometers the wrong way. That, I guess, 30 seconds that you probably made on the guys being pinned and wide open, you just lost 6 minutes because you've gone 3 minutes one way, wrong direction, 3 minutes to get back. So then you've totaled up the 5.5 minutes that you've just lost to a guy. So yeah, it's completely different to Fink. You just there's times in Dakar that you get to click top gear and wide open, and you're on a big straight stretch of road, and it feels like at home for us. But yeah, it's just got to be that a bit more moderation now. So it's that's the biggest thing with it. It just never seems to let up, and you've just got to take it as easy as you can, but also still doing it quick. But the pace in Dakar now is just it's through the roof and quite stupid, really.
So then we're sort of talking about that first, 3rd place, and it's like how much did you have in the tank and everything. So it's like you sort of did have more to go when you did get 3rd, but you were cautious of where you were going to try and put that pace down. Yeah,
exactly. That's it. So I was still pinned and wide open as much as I could be, but just losing time going the wrong way. And then that just kind of situated me just back around that 5 to 10 positions every time. So that was where it kind of worked well for us to learn that first part of it from Morocco. And then basically it was just then to go into Dakar for my first attempt, and what they call the water boy role. And so I had a stock standard bike that anyone from around the world can buy straight off the showroom floor.
With some cash.
Yeah, with some cash, some hard-earned cash. And and we...
Like our homie Troy from Black Butt.
Oh, hell yeah. Old Troy boy.
Shout out to Troy.
Boy.
Gotta give, we can't do a podcast without giving Troy a shout
exactly.
out.
What do they call him over there? Wombat. He's just like...
The great man.
Yeah, the great man. Solid. But, so like my first Dakar then, as it was just rolling along, it was like, I think we kind of explained before, it was kind of like I was just playing a video game and going along the course and just collecting coins and like how you do, like it was
like Sonic the Hedgehog style.
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff like that. And then at the end of the day, it was just like, yeah, okay, cool. I can go to the KTM shop and buy some parts and stuff and just start kind of upgrading the bike a little bit. And as every stage went along, and I started staying like with the front group a little bit in that top 6, top 7 area. They ended up like I got a set of factory forks, and then I got a set of
so
then
you're
I
like
got shock
testing
and
as you're going, pretty much.
pretty much, yeah. So like I knew from the first few days, the risk from on the stock forks, like I was kind of bottoming them out a little bit and whatnot, and just my wrists were nearly destroyed in that first week in my first Dakar. So then when that upgrade kind of came a little bit for the forks, it just gave me a little bit more comfort. And then we basically got a shock, and then it was just like ignition and stuff like that, and a better clutch, and just bits and pieces like that started rolling onto the bike and making it a bit easier for us. And then we ended up getting through that second week pretty decent, and then podium for that first year, and that was pretty much how it all then kicked off.
So go back a tiny bit. When Sleater came on the podcast, so obviously he was testing for KTM for like 14 years.
Yep.
And we had this big talk that I really enjoyed, where he was talking about the best way for like a factory dude. So say like you get Cooper Webb, just signed a Red Bull KTM. Like what they basically do is give him Dungey's like champ bike.
Yep.
Be like, this is the best that we've got. And like this is the A package, so it's like sort of taking a chick to like a super expensive restaurant on the first date.
Yep.
But it's like gives you nowhere to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you kind of what Sleater said is what would be more beneficial to these dudes is like, hey Cooper, good work sign on the team. Here's a stock 450. Spend like a week on it.
Yep.
And then like just ride it, see what you do like, see what you don't like, and then you can start to build the bike, and then it gives the bike room to grow, as opposed to like, here's the championship bike, we can change it, but it's going to make it like maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse. There's not that big leap of improvement.
Yeah.
So like you kind of did that in your first Dakar. Then you like started with the stock bike, and then you kind of gave those add-ons as you went along.
Yeah.
Like, is that, in your mind, is that like a good way, maybe not in a race condition though, but in terms of like learning the motorcycle and what does work and those like stock characteristics, is that like a good thing to go through?
Yeah, I think so, a little bit, that's for sure. It's
more extreme though, because you were doing it in the race, which is...
Yeah, that's it. That's like, it's not like they sent a bike over home here and then I got to ride it for a week and then I like make any changes and stuff like that. But for sure, if you've got that period and that time that you can get a stock bike and then start from there and then just like basically build that foundation, which will build that motorcycle around yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's where it kind of works the best. But like, it's at the end of the day, like it's also good to then to get a championship bike given to you straight away as well, and see kind of like what's possible and what worked for a previous champion, and then basically building from there. So it just comes down to, I think then, like for them guys, I don't think really too much changes like in the motor, wheels and tyres and stuff like that. That all pretty much stays very similar. But for them guys, it's like the biggest change is like the handlebars and like foot peg positions and stuff. So those options to us are like, it's possible. Like you if you want your foot pegs 5 mil lower and 2 mil further forward or 2 mil further back, they'll make another frame to accommodate for that, for you to go and test. But then you can just say, then it feels worse, or it feels a bit better, we should probably then maybe halve that and do something like, instead of going and they'll just make another frame again. So it never ends. Like that comes to the forks and shocks. They have 5 different forks and then 5 different shocks, and then they just like every time you come in, they basically, it's a 5-minute change, and they'll put new shocks, new forks in, and you go out straight away. So it's like, it's not like you can sit there and not kind of like let your mind wander and drift off and forget about what kind of like the previous setting is. It's just like you're on one setting, straight onto the next, and then you can feel the changes like straight away, which kind of helps. But then, like I say, you can like linkages and stuff like that there's so many different options you can have, and different length pull rods and different different areas that they can make the linkage work better in other areas but worse in some other cases. So it's just it's a never-ending process of what you can actually try and achieve with the bike. So it never stops. But so for what like Dungey was using, for sure, I think by looking at it, I think size-wise, like Cooper Webb's probably a little bit smaller in height. So for sure, I think his setup is going to be a bit more compact instead of where Dungey was a little bit taller and it's probably just opened and spread a little bit more. So, but that's the thing. Yeah, you can, with the factory teams and with all that stuff, there's
just
endless options and changes you can make.
Do you reckon you've got better at testing because of the car stuff? Or is it hard to translate?
Nah, yeah, like the car stuff doesn't really translate through onto the bike. So
what about just the mindset of it though? Because like, especially with the Team Triton stuff,
yep,
where like, because that seems to me like there's like you really have to know the data and know the breaking points. So like, off the data that you get, you know, like I'm too early on the brakes here, I'm not on full gas here, sort of thing. But like,
yeah.
Has it the mentality of like having to answer questions about the cars? Do you reckon it's translated at all, or is it just so different that it doesn't really?
Yeah, like it's so different. It doesn't really translate too much. Like it's so from, to put it into three categories basically of being road racing of stuff I've been doing with Triton, or the Team Triton guys, and with Mitsubishi. To then going to trophy truck stuff where you've got pretty much like over a meter's worth of suspension in that thing, to then going on the motorcycle, like the track for the guys, for us, like in the Triton, the track never changes. Like it's the only thing that will change is either the
like
weather can do temperatures
shit, yeah.
and stuff. So for sure, if you're in the middle of the day, the track temperature is going to be hot, so you're going to have more grip. But then at the end of the afternoon, if your race is at 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, track temp's down, so you're losing grip on tyres. So then it then comes down to like suspension setup to try and accommodate for that. But you've got data loggers basically in that car that will have all different like pressure sensors and stuff all around for your braking, your throttle, everything like that. So once you do your race, you can come back in and then they can basically just look at every lap you just done, and then they can find your best lap and then tell you and pinpoint exactly like where you hit the brakes, where you hit the gas, when you change gears, you change gears too early, too late. Like it just, you can look at that data on a screen, and it kind of it's not dummy proof. Like it doesn't teach you how to drive and tell you the way to drive. Like you've still got to do that stuff yourself, but you can look at turn 5 that, yeah, okay, I've come in, but I've hit the brakes basically a car length too early, which then I've lost a thousandth of a second there coming into turn 5, but I got on the throttle early to try and accommodate for it, but then I've lost grip, and then the car's pushed a little bit to come out, so then I've come off the gas, but then it tallies that I've lost like 300ths of a second just in one turn. So that data there, it can kind of show to you straight away like what you're doing wrong, and then you can just accommodate it and fix it. So I think now with the Supercross guys, they've got is it the Moby? No, whatever that little thing that now sits, Lit Pro that sits on top of their helmet. So it's not down to basically.
It's not as complex.
It's not as complex,
to get there.
but it's starting to go that way. So they can basically do the same thing. They basically do a Google image map track of the track, and then they can then basically just start putting in sectors. So they'll put it into 4 sectors, and then just every lap gets timed, and then they can then come back and say, okay, so on lap 6, you come out of that turn in 3rd gear, click 4th, went through the whoops, and you had 2 kilometers an hour quicker by the end of the straight. But then the next lap, you didn't click 4th as early, or you clicked it late, and you lost that time. So it's kind of going that way, and they're starting to follow that direction a little bit. But to then go to rally, we can't really take that technology with us, because you're just going into vast unknown lands. We don't know what's coming at us. We don't know what really is out there and what's going to be coming towards us.
You're never really going to ride the same thing twice. Like on a Supercross track, you can lock into that groove. It's like a slot car. Yeah,
it's like a slot car, and that's it. So you try and get into that groove on a motocross track, or motocross track, Supercross track, and it's just basically a replay, and you're always on that track, always doing it. But we virtually never touch the same ground twice in Dakar, and that's why we can't really take that stuff across with us. So it just comes down to you and the machine and navigating well, and then putting it all together.
So this year, obviously it's now a 10-stage event as opposed to, what was it before?
It's changed like a lot since the first one I've done. So
it's like really changed.
Yeah, so the very first one I did, I think it was like about 13, possibly 14 days. So it was like a 2-week rally. And then just over the years, it's just kind of, the race is just starting to get harder and harder to like put
logistically.
on. Logistics wise. And then on top of that, then kind of the countries are just, we're racing in third world countries. So it's to try and say we're going to bring a race, biggest race in the world, through Argentina and Bolivia and stuff. The government has to, they are forking in some money towards to the event and for promotion and to get it all up and running, but they've like I say, they're third world countries, and they're starting to go, well, we can't really quite afford to keep this up like, for the next. So
how do we justify it?
Yeah, that's it. They're like, how do we justify the race coming through? Is it really giving a bigger impact on our country and bringing in the return what we're putting in? So in the last few years, like, yeah, we're starting to lose a little bit of kilometres. We've started then to lose days, and then to now say in 2019 from my first one was 13 or 14 days, I can't quite remember, but it was around 10,000 kilometres. We now came into this rally in 2019, it was 10 days of rally, and we did just over 5,000 kilometres, but on top of that also we were in sand dunes. So this is the other part of it that's basically, for sure, this has definitely been the toughest rally that we've done, I think, because being in sand dunes the whole time, they pretty much calculated out that 1 kilometre in sand dunes pretty much equals 3 kilometres on a wide open field of desert, so where you can be wide open and full gas. So that then basically it turns it into about,
so it's a 30,000k rally instead of 10.
Yeah, like it's still a 5,000 kilometre rally, but it's still probably tallied the same amount of kilometres and distance as what the first one is, of being 10,000 kilometres. So it's just as difficult, that's for sure.
Does it lose something, do you think, like, because the footage of you guys going up to, like, you know, what was the highest elevation?
This year wasn't too much.
No, like in the other ones, like that you've done. Yeah,
in previous ones we've done, going through like Argentina and Bolivia and stuff. Sometimes we're sleeping at altitudes of about 3,500 meters, anywhere up to a bit over 4,000 meters, I think. So it was. See,
that to me is like special about Dakar.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that, it's so extreme that you can go from like freezing cold to boiling hot.
Yep.
Super high elevation, sea level, sand dunes, coastal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 100%.
Does it sort of lose a bit of? Does the event lose something by not going there? Do you think, or is it just different?
It loses a little bit by not doing those certain things, for sure. But this year, yeah, like I think our highest elevation was like 2,500 meters. So still, then you can still feel the difference a little bit with the motorcycle. It still loses a little bit of horsepower. You can still feel like you're breathing a little bit heavier. But like when you are at bit over 4,000 meters, you feel the difference big time. And that's like the biggest challenge is, yeah, like the other guys in the team and other teams, you can be the fittest guy there. You can go and say you've run 30. You can go and run 30 kilometers and do it in record-breaking time, but you get up at 4,500 meters. If the body's just not, it's something you just can't train for. Like if the body doesn't like it, it's never going to like it. Like,
Jason Anderson's like that. Like every time the series goes to Colorado, like Ando's in like a serious risk because he has like some kind of health problem.
Yep.
Where at elevation it just jacks him. So like he basically can't race Colorado.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, the body just doesn't like racing there. And then he for sure is like one of the fittest dudes of Supercross. So it's. Yeah, that's what I mean. If the body just doesn't like it, there's really no training for it. Like you can go and sit in an altitude tent for 30 days straight, but it will probably give you 1 or 2% better chance of putting up with it. But if a guy, like I say, you can be like myself, or you can be the biggest dude of the rally and get up at 4,500 meters, and you can just be sitting there like a normal dude and do everything like you've normally been doing, and not feel a difference. So it's like, for sure, the body's going to feel a tiny bit different being up there, but it's the body, like everybody's body is completely different, and they just react in different ways. So it's like I say, Ando just has a lot of trouble at Colorado there. So it's just one of them races he just doesn't like going to.
Does it feel safer though now that it's like kind of all dunes? Does it feel a little bit more controlled, and you're not going through as many countries like Bolivia? Obviously, you had that delightful experience in their hospital. Like, do you feel like, even though maybe it's taken away with some of like the spectacle of the race, but is it a little bit safer now?
Nah,
it doesn't feel any safer.
The rally stuff, it's never safe. Like I say, we're basically trying to do anywhere from 30 kilometers an hour to 160, 70 kilometers an hour into terrain that we just don't know. We just don't know what's coming, and that's the biggest issue with sand dunes. It's just the road books, they can't make them completely accurate, because overnight we could have a windstorm come in that could just completely change the whole track that they've went and what they call recce of the whole thing. So the zero car could have went through and checked it all, and then the day before it just had a windstorm and then just completely changed the whole thing. Like there could be another drop off that's not in a road book, and you just can't mark them. So that was what was the biggest kind of concern, is just missing one of them drops, like Pablo did, and then really.
So is that what happened to him? Do you think that was just different to what it was on the road book, or was he just trying to send it because he had to?
It's a bit of both. Like, it's coming into that last stage, we were both within a chance of winning a Dakar Rally, and a minute and 2 seconds spread apart. So for sure, I knew that day we were both going to be at a full send mode. But like, I know exactly where he had that crash. Like, riding along that bit of the sand dunes there, it was just like, it looked like a flat, nice big plain field of sand. It was fairly compact. The other guys had been through earlier, so because they do reverse grid with the cars and the bikes and stuff. So they start from pretty much the last place bike and the last place car and come through back to first place, and then the first place guys cross the finish line last. So the sand was a bit churned up. There was lines and stuff there that we could see, but when I was there, all I saw was the helicopter was on the ground, and I thought to myself, it was a bit strange, because normally always a helicopter's always in the air, or a helicopter's only there if someone's injured or hurt. And so I started to kind of go towards the helicopter a little bit, because I thought that was, the lines had kind of spread a little bit. So I went to the right, but where we were, it looked like it was completely flat, and you could have been wide open. So, like, I'm really surprised, Pablo didn't go off that thing wedged. As you can see in the video, like, he does hit the brakes a little bit, the front dives, and then
he tries to
to try and resave it, and thinks, it's all good, but then it was just too late. Like, he really just had to commit and go. And that was a long old drop. That was wouldn't have been a pleasant hit, that's for sure.
So if the chopper wasn't there and you didn't see the chopper, would you have followed that line, do you think?
Hard to tell now. I'd kind of hoping I wouldn't have, but
because that would have sucked.
That one would have finished me on the last day. That probably would have ended my rally for sure. Well, it almost pretty much ended his. Like, he's ended up now with a broken ankle that he's already had surgery on, and trying to get back to 100%. So, but I think they were saying that he's anywhere from a 3 to 6 month period where he's going to be out with that injury. So
he seems like a good dude too. From everything that you see, like his personality and stuff.
He's a good dude with the rally and stuff, and definitely knows how to swing off it. And that was, like I say, we're coming into that last day a minute and 2 seconds apart, and you'd be crazy not to try and have a crack at it and send it like he was, I guess, because that was that would have been his first Dakar Rally win and a first for Husqvarna. So it was all or nothing. That was he definitely gave it all, and unfortunately just didn't work out. And that was it's never good to see. Basically, by the time I was at that June where he dropped off, I was over to the right a little bit where the line I was going to take, where I could have been actually wide open, full gas and no problem, but you just never know what's going to come up over those ridges and those rises. So every now and then when you are by yourself in those areas, you shut off and then you get to the top of it and you look and it's completely flat and smooth, and then you're angry at yourself. You're just like, why'd I back off? I should have just been full gas wide open. Then you come across the next one, do the same thing. You just can't see what's on the other side, and then you have this exact same thing repeat, and you're like, oh damn, I should just been wide open. Then the third one comes along, and you're like, all right, bugger it, the first two were good, just swing off it and go. Next thing, there it is, and it jumps up on you. So that's the difficult part with the dunes, and you can't make a road book completely accurate to what's there. So they can only kind of give you like a double caution for saying the next 4 kilometers, the dunes can be dangerous.
For 4Ks.
Yeah, for 4Ks. So it's like, which
rest of the time's
in
fine.
between there somewhere, there's going to be one dune that's going to probably take you out of the race. So it's like, all right, it's a lucky dip. Let's have a bit, put your hand in the can and just hope we pull out the right number.
So when you rolled up, because obviously there's the footage of you rolling up to see him on the ground, obviously you're making sure he's okay. What was that conversation like? Or did he just sort of say, I'm good, like keep going? Or what was that interaction? Because obviously you can only see like the heli footage of it. Yeah,
that's it. Like when I got to him, for sure, he'd hit his head pretty hard. Like as you can see, he dropped off and then basically just massive hit. So the shock that basically, I guess came through all his feet, and I'm sure he would have his head slammed.
Well, you could see like the bang, like he whiplashed on that thing, and there's like a dash on those bikes.
That's it. Like you headbutt one of them things, it's like walking up to a wall and just smacking your head into that thing as hard as you can. So they're solid. Like we've had some really decent crashes and haven't even snapped one of them towers off. So they're like I say, they're solid. And when I came around and seen him, a bike was laying there and there was 2 guys, I was like, thought to myself, oh, that's strange, like surely it can't be Pablo. And then I was like, well, it wouldn't be really too many other people. Like if it was somebody else that was starting in front of us, like a slower guy, he'd already be off the track and gone. So I kind of like rolled over thinking, it's who is it? And then I saw it was Pablo's bike on the ground. I was just the first part of it, I think from the footage, you can kind of see I just like shook my head a little bit, like
just couldn't believe
being
it.
bummed. I was just like, I can't believe it's him, like on the ground, and we're only 10, maybe 11 kilometres into the last stage, which was 112 kilometres. So, kind of just more so I was just like shook my head, just can't believe it's actually him, and then pull up beside him, and like I say, he was dazed. Eyes were crossed and didn't really. I don't think he was registering too much of what was happening there where he was, and then basically, I just tried to keep yelling at him, and the guys were talking to me saying, yeah, no, we've got him, mate, he's all good, you just keep going. And I'm just like, I'm trying to yell at him, mate, are you all good, you're sweet, Pablo, you're all right.
So you can hear it from him, not
just to
them.
hear it from him and not from them. But like I say, he was definitely a bit dazed and a bit confused of where he was at, I'm sure. And so basically he kind of gave a little bit of a nod and was just like starting like trying to see feel like, I think he just like you say, he got
coming back around.
Good old whiplash and neck was sore and stuff. And then so basically it like to the helicopter footage, it felt like I'd sat beside him there for about 20 seconds, but then the helicopter footage shows it was like about 3-4 seconds. But that's what I mean, when you're stopped out in the middle of there, in the middle of nowhere, sometimes the time just feels like it's so long. But then basically he kind of gave a little bit of a nod, and he was there, and he was like, he looked okay. Like I didn't know the extent, like whether he'd broke wrist or broke ankles or whatever and stuff like that. And then we're just, after the guy said, we've got him, it's all good, no problem. And I knew that he was in their hands, and then it was just, all right, we got to, I've still got 95 Ks myself to do, so we better get back to the job and see if we can seal it off. But it's then watching the footage, seeing me take off, it kind of looked like I roosted him a little bit, which looked like a bit of a dog move, but I promise you I didn't mean to do that. It was just, soft sand and trying to take off, and then trying to turn to get actually the way we needed to go. So yeah, if he watches it, mate, I promise you I wasn't roosting you as I was leaving to take off and rub it into you a little bit. But
well, that's the one thing that I actually noticed from the footage is that, yeah, like when you take off, you can just see a bullet just dumped and you're out. But then when Pablo goes to take off, you can see that angle, for whatever reason, really shows you how hard it is to get the bike going. Which that to me, I was like, holy shit, like that's a struggle just to take off in that shit.
Yeah, in those dunes and stuff, like basically the tire we have, we either use a desert tire, so it's kind of like based off of like a bit of a road style type tire with smaller knobs, and for that stage we did have like a bit more of a motocross tire that Michelin do make for us now, and it does have a little bit taller knob on it and a little bit more spread apart. But when I think for that stage, because it was 112 kilometers, we still probably have around 25 litres worth of fuel on board with us, where our capacity is about 32, 33 litres full, and we're only 10 k's into it, so there's still a lot of weight in fuel. There's still like the 3 litres of water in the bash plate, then plus myself, I'm a big guy on the bike, and then all our riding gear.
145 kgs.
Yeah, 145 kgs. Hey, but I passed old Sam Sunderland down that beach, no problem, mate.
He noticed that, didn't he?
He noticed it too, and he tagged it and said 30 kilos extra, and I passed him, so it was all right. But yeah, that's the thing. It's just hard to even take off in that stuff with those bikes, because they're so heavy. They're 100 and probably full of fuel, fully loaded with everything. They're probably about 180 kilos worth of bikes. So as soon as you dump that clutch, the thing just wants to bury. So it's like, you got to do a little bit of a dog paddle, I guess, and try and keep the thing moving, get a little bit of speed to then get up on top of it and get moving. So it's hard work on all the bikes, that's for sure. It just it adds a lot more stress on the motors.
It must have been a weird feeling to see Pablo down, and essentially he's out, you win, like basically, unless you fuck up.
Yeah,
but you know, I know that you wouldn't want to win just because he did crash, and I don't think anyone's doubting the win in any way, but like for you personally as a competitor, obviously he's a good dude.
Yeah.
It must have been a weird feeling. Like, do you remember what was going through your head when you did, let's say, the first 5 minutes after you left the site of his crash? Like, do you remember what you were thinking?
Yeah, well, it's like after I took off and got going and saw he crashed, it was like, I was just like bummed for him. It was like, at the end of the day, yeah, for sure, I'd hope the result would have still been the same. First, second, and third, where we were situated, like with that minute and 2 second gap. I'd still hope I would have come out in front, but and then still him being on the podium in second and whatnot. But after I took off, it was like, geez, did that just really happen? Like, did that, like, is the race just about to fall kind of into my hands, and then I've just sort of finished this stage and then I'm all good. But like, still from what was it, first, second, and third. So Walkner was in third. Basically, I think he was about 6.5 minutes behind my overall time. So he was still within a fighting chance of winning the overall as well. So it was like, I took off and I'm like, yeah, sweet, I should have this all sorted, and just as long as I get through and hit all the waypoints and just cruise through, I'll be fine. And then I kind of clicked and went across to that scenario that, damn, Walkner's only about a bit over 6 minutes behind me. So if he's on a charge, if he's pushing for the day, maybe he might make that 6 minutes up and then take the win away from me as well. So it was like, then it kind of kicked in a little bit. Then I just started wrapping it back on in full throttle, and then it was like probably another 5 kilometers later, I was like, no, I've just got to calm down and just relax and do my own race, and whatever happens will happen. And that was about it. So it was actually quite funny. Probably about would have been about 20 kilometres down the track from where Pablo crashed. Actually, Robbie Gordon, the badass that he is of off-road racing all around the world, he was parked out there with his basically his side-by-side. So not too sure what he was doing, but yeah, he was still on the track, on the course, and then and sitting there. And then when I started coming up on these side-by-sides, I just thought they were broken down and sitting there. And next thing, it was like Robbie Gordon just comes out and walks out, and he's just like using his finger, just pointing to his head, just to say, "Hey, use your brain, be smart."
Yeah.
Like you've kind of got the race, and then but all I can pick from
and so
that.
do you think he's like looking at live timing or something like that?
No,
he just knew the gap or whatever that Walkner come through.
Yeah, so he would have known the gap that Walkner was coming through, and then basically like you can just have a normal watch on and just see the separated times, because they know we all start 3 minutes apart, so that doesn't change between the top 10.
Yeah.
So as Walkner's gone through, he's probably just looked at his watch, took a bit of a rough time, and then waited, and then Pablo didn't come through, so he was like, well, this is a bit strange. And then next thing, all of a sudden, I'm coming. He's like, well, geez,
it's over.
It's kind of over. But then he's must have like looked at the time at the watch. And then, like I say, he's just pointing at his head just to say, hey, use your head. So that's about all I can take from
Robbie G coming through.
Robbie
with the
G,
goods.
yeah, mate. Robbie G, mate. He is a lord for sure.
Yeah.
So, we just charged on and kept going through the course. And then at the end of the stage, after it had all finished, I caught up with Robbie again, and he was like, mate, it's so good to see you come through. And that's your second win for Dakar. And this is an unbelievable feat and whatnot. He goes, yeah, but like he said, by the time you went past me, he said, like, that then probably would have been about 25, 30 kilometres into the course, I think, because, like I say, yeah, Pablo crashed at about 10, and then it was about 20 Ks later I saw him, so yeah, about 30 Ks in, he said, like, to Walkner, I'd pretty much already made a minute on him by there, so, but, like, I can't, like, he doesn't have a pit board, he don't have a sign to say, hey, you're like, you're plus 1 minute, so, yeah, so it was basically, he was just like, hey, by the time you went past me, he said you already had a minute, so it was you were golden, you're all going good, and it was no problem. And he said I was just kind of hoping that it all kind of fell my way a little bit. And but yeah, like I say, in saying that, like what happened to Pablo could have easily happened to me in the remaining part of that course that we had for the day. And then I could have handed the win away to someone else, which would have been Walkner. So it was, that's it. You just never know. Like the only time you kind of know everything's going to happen and work is when you're about probably 400 metres from the finish line of every stage. And then when we cross the line, they have basically a board there with a time on it. So my race number will come up, so number 3, and then it will say the actual time of day, and then it will say like the stage time, and then it will give like the overall position. So from it'll say like 1/ I think by then it was like 78 like motorcycle riders still left in the race. So when I crossed the finish line and then saw the board and it said 1/78, I knew then I'd won the stage, and then that means I won the race. So it was if I saw that board and then seen 6 or 7, panic stations would have kicked in a little bit, thinking, okay, what the hell did everybody else just do in that race, and did I go that slow that I've just now blown it for myself? So you just never know until you make that finish line. And then the guys come over and just said, congratulations, you've got the win and you got it done. So it was that's when it then kind of all just started to go, hit me in the face, and started to sink in a little bit.
Just get that happy days party mode going.
Happy day, stray day, party day. We're on you.
Wait, pull this a bit closer.
Sorry,
she's
mate.
drifted.
No, drifting away.
Keep going.
What do you want me to choke on the damn thing or what?
Deep throat. So when I went to bed that night, because I was gonna stay up, and then I was like, nah, fuck it.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for the support, mate. Gypsy Tales are the greatest supporters of all time. Yeah, cheers, guys.
No, I was trying. I was just tired, to be honest. Just flat out, bro.
Oh, yeah, you're the busiest man I know for sure. Yep.
But I said to Dad was still on the couch, and he's like, I think I'm gonna try to stay up, because like Mum would like literally be first thing Toby did this, Toby did that, which I feel like all of Australia is really. But I said to Dad when I was going to bed, I was like, look, man, like, it's 100 Ks. Fink is 240, and he can just hold it wedge for that whole time. But there's got to be a part of like Walkner, Pablo, and Sam. Like they know about Fink. Like they've seen the videos. We've put it out there. Like it's been well documented in the last few years. Like the shots of you racing that race, like that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's 240 Ks. So like in my head, I'm thinking like when you're going into this last stage, 100 Ks, and you've got a minute on these dudes, like they've got to be going like, fuck, I have to do something special to like pull back any time. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then I watch Pablo crash. Obviously, like it's checkers or wreckers really for him. Like it sucks he didn't get on the box still, which is obviously that's the risk that you take. But like I wonder how much of Fink plays on their minds, because that is your specialty. Like that is your event.
Yeah, look, 100%. I've shown the guys numerous clips from Fink, and at the end of the day, it would be amazing to see some of these guys come over and have a crack at
Sam
Fink.
Sunderland, where you at?
Sammy boy, what is happening? Walkner, Pablo, any one of these guys come over and have a crack at Fink. Just tell me what you think of it. Like, it just be in it and ride it and have a go, and that's about it. But they've seen the footage that I do there at Fink, and they watch the footage and then just basically just grab the phone, put it down, and just go, that is one thing that I will never do in my life. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's stupid. So, to hear them guys kind of say that, basically kind of gives some reassurance that, the outright speed for me is
like
really good. They know. They know I don't mind swinging off it and not too stressed. But like I say, if there was a role reversal of like me being perfectly 100% healthy and in second place and a minute off an outright win of Dakar, for sure as hell I'm going to swing off the thing and give it everything I got.
You're doubling some of them dudes.
Yeah, it's it. You just try and double some of them things, and it's probably going to end up the exact same way. But it is the biggest race for the year, and that's the one you definitely want in your hands. And that's like, if that one drop wasn't there, it could have been a different play out. Pablo could have won his first one, and then I could have been in second. So it just, like you say, it comes back to that checkers or wreckers, and that's, I'll sounds crazy, but yeah, you'd easily wreck yourself to try and win a race for sure, no problem. And that's what it come down to, and what we're both fighting for, I guess.
Is there times, like, it's so long, like it's 5,000 Ks. Is there times in there, because like that clip of you and Sam that Red Bull posted, that, it was so sick, but that to me looked like two dudes that almost forgot that there was a race going on, and it was just like riding with your best mate and just sending it, because the sand was wet. It looked like you could hook in.
Yep.
The lighting's perfect. Like that look. That's why Red Bull, obviously, they pumped a bunch of cash into promoting it.
Yeah.
Because that is an ad for life as a two-wheeled dude.
As a two-wheeled dude, how many places are like left in the world that you can be wide open, full gas down the beach? There's really not too many places in the world now that you can ride your bike by the beach and on the sand by the beach. So it's that's why that footage, I think, kind of took off and went pretty massive through Red Bull and everything. But
do you remember that? Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, for sure. I remember making the pass on Sam there, because we came out of like this little small Rio, little riverbed type thing, and then basically dropped onto the dune, onto the sand, onto the beach. I think I was about the fifth guy, to be in basically a line. So the guys, one guy kind of checked out in front, then I think it was Sammy, Walkner, and then I think one other guy, I can't remember, but I remember, just basically, I don't know, it's very strange, like you say, because like, these other guys probably, like they are about 20 to 30 kilos lighter than me. So that spot, that area should be a little bit of a disadvantage to me. So little bit lighter on the sand and cruising along there where you can be wide open full gas. Those guys should have been probably checking away from me. So to then just mow past one of them, then past Walkner, and then basically the guys just see me moving forward, and then the helicopter is in the right place at the right time, and then I was just able to show Sammy I've got some traction, and away we went and just went past him. So it was I do remember making that little bit of the outside move on him there, and he basically when we got back into the camper, he was straight onto it. He says, "Man," I don't know what the hell we were doing on that beach. He said I thought basically because he posted it on his Instagram saying that I thought I was swinging off it and killing it at life, and next thing this 30 kilo dude that's heavier than me, but whatever, and just makes you look like you're doing nothing, like you're not even on the throttle. So it was like, I can't remember his exact post, but it was somewhere along the lines of that. And then he's just sitting in the camper, just kind of like shaking his head, laughing at me, just going like, "What the hell am I doing wrong? Well, how did I lose time to a big fella like going along the beach there?" So that's with that race, you just get to experience so many different areas and places and spots. So that 1 minute you're on the beach running down the dunes there flat out, and next minute you're up in the mountains and riding along a bit of a fire trail that's been pushed in by a dozer, and you're climbing a mountain to get across the things. So it's just so many different things in the race, which is cool.
Are you in race mode though? Like, say, let's talk about that pass. Like, because to me, like, say if that was me and Maddie, or like me, you and Todd riding down the beach, like you'd be smiling under the helmet. Like, did you have a smile? Like, are you just in race mode to where it's just full concentration?
For sure. I was smiling for sure. So it was we were into a section, like that beach section from memory was probably about 18 kilometers along that beach. We had that run. So once you turn onto it, and then you kind of look at your road book and go, all right, sweet, I've got like 18 kilometers of fun coming. Like there was no, all you have to do is stay along that beach. There's no navigation. There's no thing. It's basically then the only thing that you kind of got to look out for is like if you've marked your road book correctly of like a danger or something, like the ocean or something's washed out a bit of a sandbar or something, and just like got a big square edge hole in it. If that was there when the zero car went through to give you that danger mark. But once you get on there and you just go, all right, I've got 18 Ks of fun and chaos and carnage with me mates that I'm just riding a dirt bike with over here in Peru. It was just swing off the thing and just see if the big guy could catch the guys in front, and we were able to mow them down. So it was cool.
It must be crazy with like in this one conversation, you go from like so tense and nervous, and this means everything. This is the one race you have to win. But in that same race, there's like these mini segments of just like full paradise, which is that beach thing. Is that what makes Dakar so special? Yeah,
for sure. That's it. Like the previous part to that stage, for sure, is just high stress, high levels, making sure you're following all your caps, hitting all the right roads, hitting all your waypoints and stuff. But then there are certain sections in the track that, like I say, that 18 kilometers, there was no waypoints, there was no caps to follow. It was just we knew we had to follow along the water, along the beach, and that was like, it's kind of like, you're still wedged and wide open, but that's just your one point where you can kind of let your head cool down a little bit from, basically steam coming out your ears from trying to do all the navigation calls and go the right way. But then also just, stir the boys up and have some fun and ride down the beach together and be tapped and wide open. So it's one of those things, as soon as then you turn off that bit of beach and you're back into navigating and doing your calls again, that's like your 18 kilometers of break where you can kind of just regather yourself, kind of think of where you'd been, and then just try and then remember where you're going into the next part of the stage. And that's the best part about it, for sure.
So obviously, like, the wrist is jacked, it's hurt, you're in a lot of pain, but what's like the hardest thing about that injury, apart from just the pain? And was there something Like, was it the attention that it brought? Was it the people that kept mentioning it? Like, what was outside of just the pain of the wrist? Like, what was the hardest thing that brought to you? Do you want a Red Bull? Because we Mick grabbed a couple.
Yeah, I might grab one of those for sure.
Running that organic cola.
Organic cola. Yeah, I'll go for that thing.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, like it's
like, is there something that was harder about the wrist that just, like, obviously aside from the pain of it?
Yeah, like for sure, 100%. Like, trying at the end of every stage, it was basically not so much it was annoying, but you just, as soon as you pulled up and the camera was in your face, you knew exactly what the first question that was the biggest thing. I'd rather like anybody not know about it. Like, if I could just hold a straight face and have no put up with the pain for that 5 minutes while the cameras are there, and then just right off then be screaming in agony. If I was just like able to hide it away from everybody and nobody knew nothing on it at all, like, for sure it would have been a better situation. But it was just, everyone knew from it. There was a release from KDM when it actually happened, and it kind of went down, that we'd injured the wrist, and where we didn't know where we were going to situate.
Would you have rather keep it quiet and, like, not do that release? Because it's like kind of a double-edged sword. Because, like, if you don't do the release, and you suck, then people are like, well, what the fuck's wrong with Toby?
And then you go, oh, I had a wrist injury. Then you go, oh, you're making excuses.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
So, like, for sure, it would have been good to try and keep the thing quiet completely, but as everyone knows, the motorcycle industry is very damn small. As soon as any one person gets a hold of one little bit of information, the motorcycle community knows within probably half an hour. Like, there's something will go out somewhere that you're injured, and I think already, like, once I did the injury in Abu Dhabi, I think it only realistically took 1 day for somebody to kind of really kind of know and figure it out that there was something wrong. And I think, from there, the doctor that was doing the surgery, one of his patients that he was doing a surgery on, he spoke to them, was like, blah, 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 and everything, I'm doing these surgery. And I've got to do one for Toby Price, blah, blah, blah. He's going to come in and get something cleaned up. So from that one patient, I think it was like, a friend or a family member or something. Actually, it was while I was waiting, me and Geordie were just waiting for my appointment to come up. We were down at Starbucks and just chilling, having a coffee before we went in for the chaos for it all to kick off. And then next thing, the guy comes down and sees me sitting in the Starbucks room waiting and that. And he goes, oh, yeah, he said, I just heard you're going to have a surgery soon. Like, what's going on? And it's like, from there, it's just like, all right, this is not going to be kept on the wraps too damn soon. So then it was like, all right, we need to put something out very soon.
Like, to get ahead of it.
Just to get ahead of it before, like, just rumors just took off and went like whirlwind. So, yeah, we, then, like, the release kind of went out, like, it had to go out, and there's no stopping that. It's just the way it is, and you kind of got to let the world know a little bit what's going on. And but like I say, at the end of the part of every stage was like, virtually every time you had that camera in front of you, it was like, oh, Toby, tell us a bit about the stage. How was the wrist? Yeah. And it's like, Yep.
It's
the wrist is
fucked.
It's destroyed. Like, at the moment,
same as yesterday. It's not getting better.
Yeah, it's same as yesterday. It's like, I don't have no miracle to fix this thing. I don't have that little wand that will heal a bone in 2 seconds flat. So it's like, if I had that, for sure as hell, I would have used that 3 weeks ago before I even started the race. So that was like, for sure, as the hardest part of just putting up with that question pretty much every day. How was it? And it was shit. And that was pretty much about it. But you kind of got to keep it PG rated, I guess, and you can't really express exactly how you wanted to make it feel, but it's just the way it is. And
how much time did just the general medical side of stuff like eat into the days? Because, like, you don't have that much time in between all of this, like, the stages anyway. Like, you've got so much stuff that you're having to get ready for the next day. And then now you add in, like, this injury. Like, did it just feel like for 10 days all you did was think about a sore wrist?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, instead of coming back from a stage, giving the bike off to the mechanic, explaining how the bike is, what's wrong, what they need to change or fix, or if the bike was all good, to then going straight to the camper, getting undressed, then just jumping straight in the shower, and then climbing out, putting clothes on, getting food, and then basically just waiting for the road book to come out to then start marking that. It was basically come in, do basically the handoff of the bike, then at the camper kind of getting undressed, and then it was like then just straight to the doctor and the physio basically to put ice on it, wrap it up, basically compression bandages, and then like I say, there's no miracle fix that they can give you to take away all the pain and all that stuff. So we've still got to abide by all the WADA rules. So you can't do anything illegal, you can't do nothing like that. Like it's just you've got to do the normal, natural way of trying to get the thing to put up with the pain and torture, and that was just a whole heap of ice, and compression, and then just basically a few Panadol, and that's about it. Like it's you can't really do any more on top of that. So it's just it just added more to the plate, which I didn't really want on the plate. But yeah, we just tried to manage. Basically, one of the guys that drove the camper for us, he would kind of settle like all my gear out like on a bit of a clothesline and stuff, like to just get it to air out and stuff, which is something I would normally do myself. Yeah. But he would just try and take the load off on doing those smaller bits and pieces, and then I'd still have to do my road book with my hand and all wrapped up and stuff like that. So that just made that side of things a little bit more difficult. But from there then on, it was just trying to get as much rest as possible and just try and take my mind off it and wake up as fresh as possible for the next day.
I could see though too on like, I don't know though that you've got like a problem of overthinking the race though. Like I feel like at this point you've probably got a pretty good handle on the race itself and like what you've got to do to where, because like sometimes,
mate, I try not to overthink
like you don't really think about
in life.
Anything,
I don't try not to think about nothing. So it just, I think that's just what kind of works in the race for me the best way possible, which is
just don't think. You just Forrest Gump that shit.
Yep,
that's what I like.
Exactly.
So like my mate Andrew, the Irish dude that was at their house when you were there, like, man, I wish that straight up is a better podcast than I could do with you.
Mate, he had all the questions in the world, and it was like, for sure as hell. We had a podcast there on the lounge, and talking all the things about Dakar and what was happening. So it was good dude, good times.
He's so inquisitive though, which like. We all good, Mick? Bring her in. So just had a bloody tech blowout. Cameras do weird stuff from time to time. Cut me off of my train of thought. I was talking about Andrew, and I can't remember where I was going with that, but I did like, because it was cool to see, because he doesn't know anything about any of this stuff, and sometimes I feel like maybe I'm a bit too close to it because it just seems normal.
You don't care what I do, mate.
That's what I mean. Like you're around me all the time, and I just don't give a fuck. But like it is, it was really cool to see like his reaction as a guy that isn't in this at all. Like he was completely blown away. Like, and ever since then, he's like, how's your man Toby the psycho? And like, you know what I mean? Like he's just, because it to him it's so incomprehensible to do what you do. But that's where I was going with this. I got it back.
Finally, light bulb.
Boom. I said to him that you're like you Forrest Gump this shit. Like you really don't think about it that much. Like, because he was saying to me like, what's he thinking of this and how's it thinking about that? And I'm like, man, really? Like, I think it's just a case of Forrest Gump. Like, I just felt like running.
Yeah.
And, like, that's really what you do.
I just feel like going fast, and that's about it. Like, it's... Some days it's like that for sure. But, yeah, like I say, it's just... You can be 100 metres off on your navigation, and that can just change your whole world. So, it's just... which is basically what happened to us last year, which we were in a pretty decent run for... off a bad injury... to go into that Dakar, I just made basically a 150 metre wrong call.
A
and
boo-boo.
big boo-boo, that one. And
how much did that boo-boo cost? It's got to be a couple €100,000 in that boo-boo.
Oh, millions, mate. It costs millions. Here we go.
Turn it up.
Everyone thinks it's like you're making multi-millions of dollars, but mate, I think it costs more so that heartache. That was the biggest pain of the whole lot of it. It just money aside, the mistake and just, I don't know, I kind of guess getting to the finish line and just feeling like a complete dumbass of making that 150 metre wrong call. You just feel like, you're the biggest idiot in the world. That's about the thing that kind of kicks you in the face, really. But yeah, it was a little bit costly day of a payday, but it's just the way it is.
Way the cookie crumbles, as they say.
That one, exactly.
Yes, but I think, like, because I feel like there might be with someone else, like, the element of, like, if you can push through the injury, then having that little bit of a distraction off the actual race itself, the event, the magnitude, the media, the fact that... Because, like, Dakar's like Loretta's.
Yeah.
Because, like, you won the World Rally Championship this year, which I guess we haven't even mentioned. But, like, does anyone really care about that compared to Dakar? And it's sort of like the same as amateurs. It's like you win World Minis or you win, these other... like, there's still a national title. Like, you won the World Championship. Yep. But we really care that you won Dakar. Yeah,
100%. It's exactly like that. It's like you can go and do... Even just put it into a scale of like your junior days of racing, you can go and win the New South Wales state title or you get Queensland state title, but then when everyone then rocks up to the Australian Junior Motocross Championship, it's realistically like the only one that kind of counts.
It doesn't matter if you get last at every other race for the whole year.
Yeah, if you finish last every other day, whatever it was for your New South Wales State Championship, and then next thing, all of a sudden, out of the blue, just bam, you just won the Australian Junior Motocross Championship of 15 years, 125 class, like it just...
You're the man.
Yeah, you're the man. That's just the way it is, and it's it's exactly the kind of the same. Like it's... Our world championship, it is recognised for sure, but like I say, from I hate putting it to numbers and figures and social media growth or whatever and stuff like that. But like I went through basically the whole of 2018, and I think my social and like Instagram probably grew maybe 20 to 30,000 people over the whole year of the World Championship. You can win every stage, win every day, win the rounds, win the World Championship. Yeah, cool, it's rad, whatever, it's badass. But to then, like I say, how much recognition that Dakar gets, I think, we monetize all my social and all my interactions and stuff with my website and stuff like that. In the very first day, I think we started my social was like 220,000. I think it was 218,000 followers. In 10 days, I think now I checked this morning. I think it's now at 270. So it's like it just shows that Dakar has that worldwide recognition by everywhere, and just everybody froths so hard on that one race, and everything just grows. So it's just one hell of a crazy, stupid beast of a race, really.
It's funny, like we've got a video that's coming out on YouTube, which we still have to edit a few things out. But I had the morning of the win, I got like a ridiculous amount of messages through the Gypsy Tales Instagram of people like blowing up that there wasn't more mainstream media coverage of like the sort of lead up to the event. They're like complaining about the tennis players and blah blah blah. But like you see, just Channel 7 posted that thing yesterday of the airport, and like I looked, it had like 285,000 views.
Yeah,
I'm just like, holy shit! Like it really does for whatever reason. But I think that like with Australia, it's like we're so far away, and we always feel like the underdog because we are so far away. And I just think people get so behind any time an Aussie wins something big. But it is weird that they don't care before you win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, but I sort of said in this YouTube thing, like we kind of break down the whole Dakar deal. But it's like, I feel like it's so easy with the mainstream news now. It's like, even when you won, they did like the Sports Tonight thing. It was like 35 seconds worth of coverage in the sport deal. So it's like with the tennis and stuff, it's so easy to be like, oh, well, everyone knows what tennis is. So we can just talk about this like controversy, and we don't have to explain tennis. We don't have to explain the rules. We don't have to explain where it is. It's on the tennis court. Like
that's it. Like everyone can sit in the grandstand and
so
they
easy.
can just sit there, and there's like one bit of the what do they call it? It's not court.
The court.
The court. It doesn't go anywhere. Like everyone's going to sit in that stand and see the same
in
thing.
Spain. It's the same at Rod Laver Arena.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
To capture the footage that they need to capture there's probably 15 cameras situated all around the place. But like to try and capture a 300, 400 kilometre stage, there's probably 15, 20 cameras, but you miss so much between whatever's in that whole stage. So it's hard to capture footage for it and promote it a little bit. And
then to explain it to people that don't know what it is. That's
it. Like for us, like when on the camera, we ride by the camera, blah blah blah. Next thing, take off. Everyone just looks at it and goes, "Oh yeah, you're on a track. Yeah, there's no problems."
Nothing special.
It's like at the end of the day, no, we're not on a track. There's no markings. There's no bunting. There's no dude sitting at the end of a straight pointing us the direction to go. There's like sometimes there's some guys sitting at the end of straights trying to push you trying to get you to go the wrong way. Like they're trying to point you other ways and stuff like that. So it's pretty damn crazy to try and capture that footage and get stuff sorted.
Yeah, and I think just you add in that like people don't really know what Dakar is as such, and it's like it's once a year. It's just so I mean, like I get it that there isn't more coverage, and it sort of doesn't bum me out. So I guess I just wanted to like explain my perspective on that, because I don't think you really care either, right? Because what like do you care? Like do you wish you'd get a bit more attention for it?
Like I'm
love
not
attention.
Mate,
let's be honest. Let's be
sure.
honest.
Yeah, mate, with bloody a mullet hanging out the back of the helmet, mate. I'm all for the attention. No, but it's like for sure, like a little bit more. Like I don't want it to blow up and then take off. That like I can't go to Bunnings and buy a sausage and hang out and go and buy a bag of screws and bolts or whatever and that. But a little bit more recognition for it would be definitely amazing, because it's. It's not an easy sport what we're doing, and it's so people kind of don't understand these teams and the people at the factories and stuff that take this equipment there. It costs a lot of money. Like it's my entry fee alone to go and just put my name on the Dakar list to go and try and at least attempt to ride it. It's like €25,000, which
it's
transfers
insane,
to like 32 to 34,000 Australian dollars. So,
sorry to cut you off. Who was the other Aussie dude that was on the bike this year? We have to give that dude a shout out.
James Ferguson.
What a legend!
Yeah, he did.
And especially if then you go, that's a private dude that's funding it all himself. And it's a €25,000 entry fee. Like, what a fucking legend.
Yeah, Nui boy that went across there and basically did the Malimoto class. And then there was another guy, Ben Young, from down, I think it's down Melbourne way. He had a little bit more, he had more support. So he didn't do the Malimoto. So what it is with Malimoto is basically once he arrives there, gets to the race, to the event, he has to do all his tech inspection. He has to do all his sign-ins, everything like that, trying to get through briefings and everything. Then once the race starts, he has to do everything on his own. So it's like no outside assistance. So as soon as, like I think I've got it hard, like to ride in the Malimoto class to try and win outright, it's impossible. Like it's just I don't think will ever happen ever in its lifetime. So for him to come in as soon as he finishes a stage, there's not one dude that can change the air filter on his bike. There's not one dude that can change a tire. There's not one dude that can change the oil. There's not one dude that can change his handlebars if he's had a shit day, or change a brake lever because he's had a little small crash and broke the tip off the front brake lever. Like I say, he has to do everything himself, and that's like including his road book, setting up his tent, setting up his little like area. So sometimes he just sleeps in his riding gear because it's like it's more of an effort, more work to get undressed and then to get dressed again in the morning. So it's like the Malimoto class is just like stupidly ridiculous, and like I don't even know how and why anybody ever thought of that class. So it's just crazy that he was in on that and doing that. And then like I say, Ben Young was I'm pretty sure he wasn't doing Malimoto class, so he was in a I'm not too sure on what class he would have been in, but there's like another category that he's there, and there's a bit of a KTM support type team that basically he just rents a motorcycle off this team. He just shows up with his riding gear. Yeah, it's kind of the same as me, but then just like as he goes along, if he breaks things on the bike and that, they take things out of the truck, and then it just basically he's got his name on a list, and then every part that comes out of that truck for him will have a barcode. It gets scanned, and then basically they just put it to his riding number, and they've just got his credit card on file. So it just if you just keep breaking things all day long, by the end of the race you're gonna have a hefty old little credit card bill. And
could you imagine him like at scrutineering, like when you rent a car and they give you the clipboard and he's walking around being like, Nah, there's a scratch there. There's a scratch there.
There's a scratch there. That's got to be replaced. There's a there. Oh, you dented the rim. All right, that's another there, $200. Yeah. Oh, and then the tyres are worn out. You've been doing handbrakies down the road, so it's like, it's just like,
Dave Ellis could not do that class.
No, Dave Ellis would
not
fail
with his rental record.
Extremely hard at that class. So it's his rental record is I think it's shot around the world. Oh, no, not around the world, but definitely around Australia.
Oh, 100%. It was cool, though, yesterday to see so Maddie put out the press release that said when you were going to land. You didn't know that was happening, right? Because you were texting mum and dad, like, just they were picking you up. Like, you didn't even know your parents were coming, right?
No, I had no idea. Like I know from when I came back from my first Dakar win, there was a bit of a reception there in Sydney, and some people were there, and I think there was probably around 20 to 30 odd people there to welcome us in from the first one. So I'm once the race is kind of done and running and going and stuff, Maddie just kind of controls everything for us back here and just keeps everything running and sorted, and then I get to see. I do a few posts here and there along the way, but then, once the race finished, like I say, we finished on the Friday afternoon. Put the bike back into the bivouac, park for me, probably around about 4 o'clock. Went back to the hotel, basically had a shower, had something to eat, put some riding gear back on to then go back to the podium, cross the podium to then get the trophy and do all the celebrations type of stuff. Then once that was all done, bike was back in park for me. It had to sit in there for about another half an hour after that, just for if anything like protests and stuff and whatever like came through, whatnot. And then the team then took the bikes, put them back in the crates to then get them ready to ship out back at the dock to go on the boat. And then I just went back to the room, basically got out of the riding gear. Then I just started to pack all my bags, and just I take about 4 gear bags worth of stuff over there. So that's probably about 130 to 40 kilos worth of riding gear and stuff. So I'm packing all that. Then once all the team had pretty much got everything sorted to where they couldn't do no more work that afternoon, that night, we just went out for a team dinner, basically across the road from the hotel. Just celebrated there a little bit, and then I just because it's my right wrist. It was, I would have loved to have gone out and went and partied and see the guys and other competitors and stuff. Like Red Bull always throws a big party on and stuff there, and I wanted to go to that for sure, but just being my right wrist, as everyone's you always shake your hand with the right, and it's just weird to try and shake with the left, and everyone just feels a bit random at trying to shake with the left hand, and then so I just thought, nah, bugger it, I just going to chill for the night. I actually had a 10 o'clock flight the very next morning straight out of there, so I had to be at the airport at 7. So I just woke up in the morning and basically just grabbed my bags, threw them in the taxi, went straight to the airport, and then started flying home. So I didn't really see too much stuff, because then once you're in the air, there's no, well, some planes there's no Wi-Fi and no whatever and whatnot. And then I landed in New Zealand, which was then Sunday morning, back here in Australia. And then messaged Maddie and stuff and just said, close to being home, it's all good. Then messaged your mum and dad and just said, is it possible to probably get picked up from the airport? And then Maddie kind of goes to me, he goes, I'm going to cruise up and blah blah blah, and I'll catch up with you there and stuff. So I was like, oh well, okay, no worries, I won't organise Pete and Liz to come. I'll just get picked up by you, then I'll call in past Pete and Liz's place and pick up my car. And actually no, my car wasn't there, so I was just going to call in and catch up. And then I was blinded to it really. So I landed in Sydney. I had the worst flight coming home. It was like four stops to get home pretty much. And then so I blasted through Sydney, no problem, no dramas. I kind of thought it was a little bit weird, like, because usually mum and dad always, because for them it's like in Newcastle, they would see me in Sydney. So I was like, I still had like about a 3-hour layover in Sydney. So I was like, it was a bit strange. But like, I spoke to mum and dad after the race and stuff, and they then told me like, we're going to come up next weekend, basically Australia Day weekend, and we'll bring some stuff up and we'll come and catch up with you. So then once I come out of Sydney and stuff, and they weren't there and didn't surprise us there, I was like, usually they're usually there, and no, they just must
just
be
one Dakar.
Just one Dakar, and they don't even not even
come
worry.
And say g'day at least.
At least just drive 2.5-3 hours to come say hello. So, but no, it's. So I didn't really think too much of it. I was just like, sweet, it's no problem. They're going to come up next weekend. I'll get to catch up with them then, and have a good time. And I then I flew from Sydney to Brisbane. Had a little bit of the old trophy, mate. It's a hard old thing to get home. Like, honestly, it's the hardest thing to get into my hands ever in my whole life. And then they expect like you to put it underneath in the baggage and like under the plane and in the luggage. And I always fight with them. It's like, no way in the world I'm letting go of this thing in my hands. It's coming on the plane with me as carry-on, because you just don't realise how hard these things are. You can't get these things. You can't go down to the local op shop and buy one of these things. So there's been a lot of blood, sweat and tears that have gone into trying to get this thing. And so... And it's damn heavy too. So like, I can understand for sure it could be used as a weapon on the plane for sure. You could easily knock someone the hell out with the thing.
Big head of yours.
Yeah, 100%, mate. So it's just like, I was like, so I had a little bit of issue in Sydney and stuff. Because I had 3 bags I was carrying on, because it was basically I put that trophy into another bag to try and bring the thing home as carry on. And then when we got to the plane to jump on there, they were like, you've got 3 bags, sir. Like you can only take 2 on. So I was like, the other ones I had was basically, the other one was my helmet that I crossed the finish line in. So I was like, well, I can't throw that thing under the plane, because that's just going to bounce around. They're going to snap the visor off it and completely destroy it. And then the other one was my backpack, and it's just got all my laptop and all that type of stuff in it. So I was like, the only thing I can really kind of let go of right now. So I just said to him, you can take this bag, but I said, if you lose it, like there's going to be a hell of a lot of trouble. So I pretty much only just sat at the bridge and like actually physically watched them like carry the bag down the stairs, down across to the plane, and then actually throw it in underneath the plane. So I knew it was on that plane somewhere, and I knew I was going to get it in my hands by Brisbane. So then we landed in Brisbane. A couple of the hostess like chicks on the plane then kind of put 2 and 2 together, like, oh yeah, sweet, so yeah, you're that guy that just done that race of Dakar and blah blah blah, and that's amazing, blah, blah, yeah, everything's cool. And so then they were really good, friendly and whatnot. And then once I got I got to the door of the plane to get off to get in the bridge to get into the terminal. There was a guy standing there waiting, and he goes, "Oh, Toby, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all good." And he's like, "All right." He said, "Oh, I'm just going to guide you through everything through the airport today, and just make sure everything's all good and no problem." I'm like, "What do you mean, mate? It's just me. We're all good. Like, it's no problem." He goes, "Oh, no, I think you might have a bit of a surprise once you get to the end of the whole gate."
Good one, mate.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, good one. Cheers, mate. What are you just pulling a bit of a prank?"
So I did have a surprise.
Yeah, and then
now
I was
I
like, hey, could have been police sitting there waiting for me. I don't know. So
True.
I had no idea still. So I was like, "Oh, all right, sweet, no worries." And then he then went and said, "All right, I'll go and get that bag you put down under the plane." The hostess ladies told us what had happened and that. So then, I got able to get the trophy and stuff. And he goes, and then as I just started to walk back up through the bridge and everything, then he goes, "All right, there's." I'll let you kind of know there's a lot of media and stuff here at the moment. And I went, "Oh, okay. How the hell did anyone really know that I was
what
coming?
Flight I was
what
on
flight
stuff,
I was
yeah.
on? Like this, usually no one really knows." And then to basically get into the terminal back, feed into there, it was just there. I don't know. There was easily 100 odd people there. I think it was just. The cheer from them, everyone being there just to welcome me home was just like, I don't know, that would be just something that I'll never forget in my whole life now. So it was a pretty damn awesome thing to see.
It was crazy. I was standing behind you when you come out because me and Mick were filming, and it was like I had a moment where I was like, you put the trophy up in the air, and then everyone started cheering, and when you think about like what a trophy is, it seems like silly in a way. Like you just get this thing. Like it could be anything. Like it looks cool, but it's just a thing that someone's like, "There you go, you did this." But it's like it's crazy to see what it actually like. It's a symbol. Like it's not just a thing that you get. It's like everything that happened. It's like it's a sum of all of the parts that led to you actually getting it.
100%.
And then you hold that up in the air, and like that is such a clear representation of like what you said, like blood, sweat and tears to go through that. And it was really interesting to just see people like wanting to hold the trophy and wanting to just like sort of be around you and that, you know, the emblem of what you kind of got for doing what you did
in my hands. Exactly, 100%. Like, and that's it. Like, I kind of oversee that and don't think about that. But like realistically, when I, as you do mention it there now, there's only 2 of those trophies here in the whole of Australia. Like there's not another one sitting down at your local dirt bike shop. There's not another one sitting in the office of some hierarchy guy that just went and visited to go and be a part of Dakar or something. Like there's only those 2 first place trophies and my 2 third place trophies that are outright podium results that are sitting in on the shores here of Australia. So it's like as you kind of say that, then like you sit there and realize that holy hell, it's crazy when you do hold that thing up, what that symbol of that trophy is. It's just everyone just like loses their mind because there's only a few of them around the world, and at the end of the day there's only two big ones here in Australia and 2 little ones, and that's how it is. And it's crazy that I've been able to get them, all 4 of them, in my hands. It's crazy. Hopefully we can add to the collection and keep it all going. But we've got a little bit of a family going on, so it's pretty rad.
It's crazy too because like there's rich people in Australia, people with a lot of money.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can be the richest person in the world.
You can't get that thing.
If you don't cross that finish line first at Dakar, you ain't gonna have one of them trophies in your hand. Like it's just, there's no money there's no sum and there's no figure in the world that can buy one of them things, and that's just the way it is. There is basically, I've heard that there is like the 3 casts for those trophies to be made, and then basically they're kind of just locked away at ASO, and there's no other way to get a hold of one of the things. And so it's like the guys that cross the finish line first, second, third, they're the ones that get the trophy, and then that's it. Like there's no more, there's no replicas made, there's no bits and pieces. Like it's just they're the real deal, they're the trophies, and they're the ones you get to keep for life. And it's like I say, I don't care how rich anyone is. If anyone came to me and said here's $10 million to buy one of the things, I'm not going to sell it for $10 million, because I feel like my life, I've risked my life. My life's worth more than $10 million for sure, but I've worked damn hard to get the thing in my hand, so it's like I'm not going to give it away in a heartbeat like that, that's for sure. So it's there's really no figure on them things, and it's once you got one, you don't want to let the thing go. So it's they will get probably put on my bedside table, and I'll wake up every morning to look at them things and smile and say, yep, that'll kickstart my day really damn well.
Yeah, I think that moment yesterday, though, like that was probably just for whatever reason, seeing you put that up in the air, and then the way that people responded to it. And it's like, it's just everyday Australians, man. Like the people that were there yesterday, that's just salt of the earth, everyday Aussie people.
Yeah.
And like it fully means something to them, man. Like it's crazy, like, because you know you do get wrapped up, like it's everyday life, like you are just Toby Price, like to yourself, you know what I mean? But to these people, like you've done something that's so like unattainable to anyone else, and I don't know, like it's just so cool to see how like the everyday Aussie, you know, people were making signs overnight. Like, Matty only put that press release out the day before.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine if it even came out earlier.
Like, earlier, what
how
could
it would
have been.
Yeah.
Like, it's, 100%. And that's, like, I don't know. I hope to most people and that as well, like how you say, you described it, there was just, like, everyday Australians there. Like, I think for myself, that's all I see myself as. Like, I don't see myself as a world champion. I don't see myself as anyone bigger and better than someone that sits beside me or whatever. It's just like, and I think that's kind of what helps a little bit, like into relation of
like
how people will feel,
yeah,
like kind of feel a part of it. Like it's just because they kind of feel like that I'm just one of them, and I'm with the group. And yeah, at the end of the day, it was after we finished at the airport. Yeah, we went down to a local bar, like a local pub. And basically, yeah, the bar guy was in there. He's just like, hey, well, like, why the hell did you choose this bar or this pub, like, to come here? Like, what? And I said, well, it was the closest place to come, and that was about it. It's all good. Like, it's no drama. He goes, yeah, but like, he kind of like looked at me and was like, you should be like celebrating in like a 5-star friggin' bar restaurant somewhere down in Surfers Paradise, and like by the water, and having like, yeah, people service drinks flat out. But it was just like, no, just come down to the pub, mate, and stand at the bar and order my own drink, and yeah, have a cheers with a beer with everyone, and thank everyone for coming down and supporting us along the way. And yeah, I think that's where it kind of kicked in a little bit there. Like there was probably another 30 odd guys that saluted me coming in on motorcycles. Yeah,
that was sick.
That was pretty badass. Like it's there was 3 police officers there. When I saw them, I just thought, this is gonna turn to carnage. We're gonna get people arrested, and it's just gonna go chaotic. And the police were all fine with it. They kind of knew, we gave them a bit of warning what was kind of gonna go down and what was happening. And yeah, there was guys there, or I was just waiting for a piston to come through a tank, and they're just on the limiter, wide open, full gas, and just cheer. And then it was, to then have them all basically come down to the pub, and then, like I say, just have a beer with them, have cheers, and bloody show them the trophy. It was just like, then you could just kind of see, the guys, like, they really appreciated it. They quickly got in and got their photos and had a quick chat, like everything like that, and then I had a couple of beers with them and stuff, and then it was just like, all right, like then they just kind of like knew that like all my family and like most of my friends were there as well, and they just, all right, sweet, no worries, we'll leave you alone now, and you go and hang out and see your family and do your thing. And it was just like, as they were all leaving, they said, yep, see you later, thanks heaps and much appreciated. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was like more of appreciation from me that they actually took time out of their day just to come down and say congratulations and well done. And yeah, it's like, it's unreal just to have a beer with them, and then it was unreal to see everybody at the airport. Like it's a Sunday afternoon. To most people, there's so many more things they can be doing on a Sunday afternoon instead of sitting in an airport waiting for one dude to walk off a plane. So it was definitely a warm welcome home, and like I say, one that I definitely won't forget for a long time. So it just we'll see. We just got to try and keep getting these trophies in our hands, and and just keep people pumped and happy on what we're doing, and represent Australia the best we can, and myself, and go for gold.
I know, I know you do get shit from sponsors. No, I shouldn't say sponsors, but from people within the industry that are like, why are you doing Baja? Why are you doing super trucks? Why are you doing Triton? What? Just focus on this, focus on that. But it almost gets put into perspective when you do see all of those people show up at the airport, and it's it's got to be a mixture of a lot of stuff that you do to generate that, you know what I mean? Because what you can one chick posted a photo, she got a photo with the Dakar trophy the first year, and then she got another one this year. It's these are legitimate hardcore people that they care. It's not there's a difference between being a fan and then for the fight stuff, for instance. I'll watch a lot of the UFCs, and there's guys where I'm I'm a fan of that dude, but then if he wins or loses, I'm damn, bad fight, you know?
Yeah.
But then there's some guys where you're you'd crushed if they lose.
Yeah.
And it's then there's this different level. It's that's the level that it seems you have with so many of these people. Yeah,
it's for sure. That's it. I think everyone's they're just pumped to follow along on the adventure that we're up to. It's till now, everyone has seen my documentary that's on Red Bull TV, and then kind of understands what I've been through. And so I don't know, I think there's some people, it feels like they're a part of the journey, and they're connected to it somehow, which is rad. And that's exactly how the best way to come across with it, and how you engage with fans and stuff. So it's it's like I say, it's just it's amazing that they took the time of their day and come down to greet us, and it's just it's whirlwind, that's for sure. So it's we'll definitely, like I say, just keep trying to fight on with it.
Yeah. So now I was gonna say what's next, but really, what's next is the Australia Day party. Can it get weirder than last year? I mean, surely it can. But if it does get weirder than last year, then that's pretty weird.
I think now the only thing that's kind of going to top last year's one, that was coming off a third place. So it's this is the official after this
party.
Is official kind of after. But I honestly haven't partied since the win. So it's Australia Day is the best day to do it.
Isn't that the craziest way to celebrate too? Bam, come home, win the Dakar.
There's
got
one
the
week.
Aussie flag everywhere that you go, and then it's I might have my after party
on Australia Day, and just make sure we celebrate it decent. So without going into detail with that last party, it got pretty weird, pretty wild. So I think,
you know it gets weird? This is how you know it gets weird. Jackson Richardson left early.
100%.
That's how you know it got weird. Jats is oi man, I'm a pup in the game. He literally was damn, I've realised I'm still on a 65 here.
He just graduated off the 50 and got on to 65, and then just realised, I've still got a few more steps to go to catch up. So it's I guess
it was just good family fun, really. It was wholesome. It was just loose.
It was one nice dinner table of just people sitting around and enjoying a lot of drinks,
playing cards.
That's what we're going to put it down to. But
you know what though? It's at that party. It takes one dude, and last year it was Chaz. It was a mixture of maybe Chaz, Brock, and Harry, and then they just then it was it was so. This is acceptable? And it's well, not really, but it's been done now.
It's frowned upon, but it's acceptable. So I think the only way we're going to kind of top the next one, maybe this weekend, is if someone gets arrested, and that's
we don't. We can't get arrested.
Well, I'm not, but you can.
I don't want to get arrested.
Why not?
You'll probably do something to stitch me up.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. No, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Well, we're definitely keen to celebrate with some friends and stuff this weekend with Australia Day and stuff. So big boy Harley Clifford's home. So I think he was actually there last year as well. So he was in the kitchen when some other stuff was like unfolding with a motorcycle and stuff like that. So I think I might have just gave away a little bit too much with the kitchen and a motorcycle. So it was, he was in the mix of it. So yeah, he's back as well, and from his whirlwind of trips and stuff. So, but yeah, I think we'll start it out as a bit of a day on the boat and cruise along from there. Then once I guess we can't drive a boat with a few beers, then we'll cruise back to the house and finish it off there. So it just. I've definitely got some plans what I want to do, but
you've left it late. I know what they are. You've left it late.
It's never too late, mate.
You've got Maddie and Dave on the case.
Yeah, well, that's it. The boys, athlete managers, that's what they got to do. So, mate, I come up with like the weirdest and strangest, craziest ideas at the last minute, happens. But somehow it always happens. So, we end up. What did we do last time? We bought a trophy truck 2 weeks out from a race and flew the thing over here and then had to rebuild a whole motor. So it's like, if we can make that happen, get a whole big vehicle inside an aeroplane to then shipped over here or flown over here to then replace a motor, then to go out to Alice Springs and race Fink, I'm sure as hell some scaffolding and other bits and pieces we've kind of got planned will happen, for sure.
Surely we can make it happen.
Something's got to happen.
Speaking of crazy ideas, where did the bet idea come from?
Yes.
You got stitched, bro. Like, you won the race. Mate. You won the race, and then, like, you have this, like, little after-party shindig, and then it's like, hey, so stoked you won. Gonna shave your head. You lose. Yeah. How did you win and then lose? Yeah, I
pretty much won and lost. Yeah. So it ended up just being a lose-lose situation the whole way for us.
And then you only got to kiss her hand.
Mate, you always greet a queen or a princess with a key.
Don't talk to me like you're a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman, mate.
Don't talk to me like you're a gentleman.
For sure I'm a gentleman. So, mate, she's like the queen of the desert. So, had to kiss her on the hand. There's no other way. And on top of that, Lyra does have a boyfriend, so it's...
The bet's a bet, mate.
Bet's a bet. But hey, we didn't specify in the contract how the actual kiss was going to go down.
The bullet there.
So that was all right. Like I didn't mind. I'm happy to do that. That was got a bit of skin there, so it was all good. So it's all right. But she's we're just sitting outside. I think it was after like stage 2, stage 3 or something like that. At that point, basically, I pretty much made the bet to myself and her, and then the table and the group of people that were there. She was sitting in about 25th, 26th or something at the time. We'd already knocked a couple of days off the rally. So basically, my mathematics skills are not so good. So I started to actually try and use my head for once and actually think, because as I said before, I don't really like to think too much. I then was like, all right, she's in 25th. She goes, when are you going to get rid of the conversation is, when are you going to get rid of the mullet? And I said, well, look, I don't think I'll ever get rid of the thing. Like, it's just like, seems like it's a national Australia thing, and just like it's just kind of connected to me now, and that's just the way it is. And
it's my source of my power.
It's just the mullet power, and that's what makes me swing off it. And that was about it. And then she goes, we'll just make if I get inside the top 15 or something, like, can I shave your mullet off? And I was like, hang on a minute. That's when now we'll go back to this other bit where I was then starting to try and use my head and think and put something 2 and 2 together and go, all right, she's in 25th, 26. She wants to get the top 15. All right, so there's 10 places in there. We're already 2 stages down. So there's 8 days left. And then I just kind of went, well, surely in that top 15, there's really damn fast guys. There's not going to be 8 that are going to drop out. So it's like, all right, that's if 8 drop out, then we're down to a close number with the 15. But it was like, all right, maybe 1 or 2 more, and I should be still safe. So I was like, yeah, sweet, no problem. Like, yeah, I took about, my mathematics skills, as I say, were really bad. I probably took about 3 minutes to try and think of all this scenario that I'd played out. And then I was just like, all right, yep, no, I should be pretty safe on that bet. It's no dramas and we'll be good to go. And so the next thing, a napkin came out. This was our official contract. We started to write it out, and then she's like signed it, and I've signed it, and I thought, yep, sweet, no worries. This thing's gonna be all sweet and all sorted. And then I was just threw it in the ring and just like, bugger it. Well, I said, if I finish top 5, what do I get? And then she's like, oh, name it. I said, I want to have a kiss with you, no problem. And she's like, oh, well, she kind of paused at it a little bit because, Liar does have a boyfriend. But
is he the champ?
He's a champ, mate, for sure, 100%. I'm sure as hell he definitely wouldn't have allowed the old kiss on the lips to go down, that's for sure. I don't think he's that much of a champ, but we didn't really actually think it was going to take off and grab traction and do it.
It went off, bro.
100%. It was just as a bit of a joke around the table with probably 5-6 people. And then, as the contracts all got kind of finalised and finished off, that, all right, if I got inside the top 5, I got to have a kiss, and a 5-second kiss, and it was all good and no problem. And then a camera came across our shoulders, and then kind of they asked the question what was going on, and then we explained what was happening, and then this camera was rolling, and which was from Red Bull. And then they said, oh, this is pretty funny. This is something, a bit of cool content we can have, and blah, blah, blah. And we didn't think they were going to edit something up and put it together. And, the very next morning we woke up did the stage, got back at the end of the day. And then next thing, Red Bull kind of showed us this bit of a video, and it was our bet. And we're like, oh yeah, sweet. Like, we're about to post it and put it to our channel. And we're like, I was like, no, you can't.
This is just a G up.
This is just a bit of a G up, a bit of fun, like between us. You can't really kind of do this and blah blah blah. And they were like, then they kind of like looked at me a little bit weird, and it was just like, I then kind of knew, shit, they've already kind of sent that out, and this thing's about to hit like social media. So I was like, far out. I said, hey guys, you kind of need to probably check with Liar first if this is kind of going to be possible, because like I said, the first part of the deal is no problem, but I said if you're posting the second part of the deal, we could be starting to cause a little bit of drama back in Spain. So they were like, oh, well, what's happening? I said, well, Liar does have a boyfriend. So I was like, this could be a bit of an issue. And they were like, oh, and then their face just kind of dropped a little bit, and they were like, okay. Then I was like, yeah, they've definitely posted this. This thing's already out there going. So they went and spoke to Liar and stuff, and then they sent her the clip, and then all of a sudden, next thing I checked Liar's page, and she's shared it as well. And I was like, well, what a bloody champion she is. Like, she's got a boyfriend and all, and she's then just plastered this thing out in a way it's on fire.
She was confident, bro.
100%. I didn't really post it too much because I definitely wasn't confident, because like as I say,
she is a badass.
She 100%. And like literally, I just can't describe it. I can't describe the lady. Like, it's just amazing what she can do. And I know how damn tough it is to get through a Dakar, and it's like it has to be, if not half as much as hard for her. My hard, and then plus another half of mine. It has to be at least that for her. So it's like, it's crazy to see her being in the race and then like her saying, yeah, I'm going to be in top 15, like the shave your mullet. So I was like, I'm all sweet. And like I say, as I came back to the other thing, it was like, I didn't even expect to get past the rest day. So my other plan was that, like, if I did quit,
you'd already be on a flight home.
I'd already be on a flight home. I'd be out of that place on my way home, and then she can finish 14th, but I'm sitting at my lounge room here in Australia. She ain't touching my head. So I was like, I'm sweet, I'm safe. Like, we're probably not going to be here. So that's why the whole thing is my mathematics skills kind of failed on me miserably, and then just thinking, I'm not going to make the finish line, so I'm going to be on a plane getting sent home because the team's not going to want me here. With my wrist the way it is, and then I'm going to be safe either option, so I'm all good. But then she ended up then climbing in. Well, I think it was like two or 3 days from the end. she was sitting in 16th position, and then she had basically, I think it was about 15 minutes between 16th and 15th, whoever was in 15th at the time. So I was like, then I started to get pretty nervous. I'm like, I'm still here at this race at the moment, and she's damn close to her target, and I was inside my target as well for my goal. And then I was like, all right, well this is looking like it's about to happen. So after that, the next couple of stages, like the badass legendary Ricky Brabeck from America, unfortunately, he had an engine failure, and then so there goes one. So now she's inside the top 15. Adrian Van Beveren, he had, I think, an engine failure too with the Yamaha. So then, okay, sweet, now she's in 14th. So she's guaranteed. She's like in a top spot already. She can't lose. There's no way. And then I think along the way there was a couple of other bits and pieces that went down, and then she ended up damn well finishing 11th. Like, and that's, I think, her tied with her best result finish in the Dakar Rally. So absolute. I'm not going to call her an animal because like she is a princess. She is the queen of the desert for what she's doing. But yeah, like at the end of the day, she really is an animal because like it's just
savage.
It's like a savage what she does on a bike, and she definitely would make a lot of dudes cry how sometimes they ride a motorcycle, and sometimes I think she nearly even makes me cry sometimes. So it's it's just how it kind of worked out, and I should have probably put some little fine print bit in there that if I actually won the race, I probably should have been able to just get scot-free and got out of it. But
that goes to show that like you really winning was not on your radar.
100%. My winning, that day 2, day 3, winning was far, a million miles away from being on my radar. So it was like it did not even cross my mind or cross any thought in me at all. So by day 8, I was sitting there. You're thinking to myself, you're an absolute dickhead. Why the hell did you not put that in there? Like it's now you're about to lose.
See what happens when you do a contract without Maddie. This is what happens.
Yeah, I failed. I didn't put that fine print in that I usually don't read. So it's I just pissed. That was just about all it was really.
I think as far as it went though, it worked out. The mullet's still there. The head is shaved. It's rude.
It's definitely rude. But hey, like before that, even like we get to that part as well. Like this video and clip, then the next morning when it got shared, like it made actual news in Spain that this was like it went on. The guys told us there that this has actually made news in Spain. Like this is what's gonna. They've spoke about it on their national TV in Spain that this is a bet that's gone on and what's happening. Like because
is she pretty big in Spain?
She's massive, like absolutely massive in Spain. Like
sick.
you literally you could pull up at any petrol station there and somebody would know it. Like it's like she is like the queen of Spain and queen of desert rally Dakar. Like that's just who she is, and it's so yeah, like I say, that then got traction in Spain. And it just then hit news like kind of headlines, I guess. Like they were explaining it to me, and I was just like far out. Like this is escalated. This is escalated way above what I ever wanted it really to take off to. And then I was like, well, like that's what I mean. Like I couldn't back out at the end of the day at the finish line and say, oh no, you're not shaving my head. There's no way. Like a bet was a bet, deal's a deal, and this made national TV in Spain. So it's like if I don't go through with it, like everyone's gonna pretty much hate me. So it's like. But then at the end of the day, there was a bit of a shed of a tear, mate. This mullet at the back of my head is like the longest standing relationship I've had for a damn long time. Like it's just like I've had this thing for nearly almost 3 years, and I've just made a stupid bet on a damn napkin, and I'm going to shave this damn thing off. I'm like, I was torn. It's not the greatest, but she didn't do a very damn good job, as you can. I'm very scared to show it, but as you can kind of see,
it's janky at best.
It's very, very janky.
When did she do this? Was like days ago, bro.
This is days ago. We're now like probably
just get it fixed.
But I haven't had time, dude. I've literally got on the plane the next morning at I was at the airport at 7 o'clock, flew the whole way. Worst part was every time you go through a friggin' passport check, they're like, "Oh, can you please take your hat off, sir?" I'm like, "Oh, god damn it." All right, took the hat off, and then she just kind of like looks at you and like, "Yep, I lost a bet. That's me, please," and then just put the hat back down, and then just put my head down and walked onto the plane. It was just like, that's the worst thing in my... That's the most shame I could ever have in my life right now at the moment. So I was like, all right, cool. And then, the worst part was, like you say, it's just danky. It's just like got little chunks, and like there's, as you can see, there's one piece right at the front that's like missed. There's pieces down the side that's missed, and but... As you say, like I flew in the first day, went straight from the airport. Like everyone was there. I tried to greet everyone there. It was a big day. Went to the pub, then basically just went home last night and crashed out in first hour of like laying down pretty much, and then woke up pretty much at 4 a.m. this morning from jet lag and whatnot, and then from pretty much 7:45 onwards, it's just been phone calls, TV interviews, bits and pieces, and then unfortunately this stitch up talking to your friggin' head again. And so I'm still kind of stuck with it. Like I haven't had today to do anything.
What's the game plan?
I need to fix it.
But like, how do you fix it, bro? That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the fix?
It's a hard fix, mate. It already starts bad from this bit.
That's what
like
I'm saying.
It's a hard fix. There's no fix to the top either. So it's like
the fix is
actually. Look, I'm going to put my hat back on because I feel really uncomfortable right now. At the moment, it's very awkward. So, but like
the fix is like you need to be the Stig from now on. Like you have to just wear a helmet.
Yeah, I've literally just got to have a helmet on the whole.
What was that movie?
Time.
Did you see that movie where the kid like he has a space helmet and he won't take it off?
Yeah. What is that?
You need to be
called?
that kid.
It's got to be that kid, mate. This is my space helmet right here. It's like I literally just need to get some super glue and just stick my hat on my head and just sleep with it, shower with it, do whatever with it. Like I just can't take my hat off no more.
It's so bad that even being...
It's so bad, but it's so good.
It is so bad and it's so good. I will give you that. But it's so bad that like even when you're alone by yourself, you'd still be embarrassed.
I'm still scared of myself. I look at myself in the mirror and just go, who the hell are you right now? Like it just literally is the worst thing. I don't know. I was surprised. Like if...
the only thing that could make this better is if you get arrested for something that you didn't do, so you're not actually in trouble, and then you have to go to the cop shop and get a mugshot. And try and explain myself to get out. That would be the only way that this
go
could be
on
better.
Police record with the worst haircut in the world. Like it's that'd be about it. I think if you gave me a fanny pack, I reckon I'd definitely cause some trouble and I'd be getting taken away pretty quick.
If you took my van to a school tomorrow morning, you're in big trouble, bro. You are in big trouble, bro.
Yeah. What's that Hangover movie? Yeah, you're not allowed to... No, there was one other movie. What are you not allowed to...
Within 500
yards of a schoolyard or a Chuck E. Cheese or something like that. Chuck E. Cheese is my favourite place, mate, if they were in Australia, that's for sure. But, shit. Now just... got this bit of a thing at the back of the old head.
Fix it. I like that the mullet's still there because it'll grow back quickly. Here we go. There's the fanny pack.
So there, I'll be supporting this there in the next few days, and I'll run my life at a bit of a risk and just see how we go. And
who's chasing? I'm holding. Wait, is there speed dealers? Matty, have you got any speed dealers?
No, I'm not taking my hat off. I've already had the hat off, and I'm not.
Have you got any speed dealers, Matty? Where's the Oakley speed dealers?
The Oakley speed dealers, mate. Bowie, hook me up with some Oakley speed dealers. We're on. Like I'm going to cause carnage for the next week, and not going to be allowed out of my house, mate. I'm going to have the anklet bracelet on.
Yeah, you need to be on like house arrest.
House arrest, yeah.
For like a little bit.
Far out.
Oh, that's the best. At what time are we running here?
I'm getting this thing off because I'm probably going to get in trouble for that thing too. So. Oh, yeah.
So what else, mate? What else do you want to say? Is there anything else that we should know about with this race?
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's sometimes shit. Sometimes you just want to come home.
Was there a point where you thought you were going to have to stop?
Yeah, look, I'd stage 3 and stage 7 and 8 were like pretty much my tougher one. Like stage 3, realistically, like I had pain. It was uncomfortable. I'd got lost in the morning, so I'd lost a bit of ground on the guys. So around probably 20 odd minutes, I thought. So I was riding to the fuel stop, and then basically just was kind of saying to myself, all right, the wrist is annoying. I've already kind of thrown away a bit of time. It's going to be hard to try and make, because I was kind of guessing around 20 to maybe 30 minutes that I'd lost. It's going to be hard to make up that time with my wrist, what I've got. I really kind of don't have the outright speed to push and draw that time back. I got to the fuel stop, and then, like I say, there was literally one dude there, and I'd started like 8th for the day, and the guys that started behind me still hadn't come in on their 3-minute gaps on me. So I was like, shit, I'm still good. Like at the moment, like really no one's pulled time. I've probably only lost maybe about 4 minutes to the guy that's here, and that was about it. So I was like, damn, all right, sweet, I've got to put the helmet back on. So put the helmet, well, not damn, but I was like, yeah, I've got to put the helmet back on and keep going and charge on. So then that was like that stage you got through stage 4 and then 5. Rest day, which was kind of good just to kind of get things to calm down again. Stage 6 was decent. Just then 7 and 8, they were just really big long days. They were like I think it was like 330 one day and 360 the next. So I think they were like the longest stages of the rally, which just put a shit ton more pressure on the wrist and more pain. And then, like I say, stage 8 was like really the day I had to make a decent push to try and claw myself in onto the podium somewhere, and then just situate myself for a last good 2 stages to finish on a podium if that was in reach. And I still by then, by stage 8, I still didn't really think a podium would even still be possible. But
so were you like, why were you trying to finish? Like, if you didn't think that the podium was possible, the win obviously wasn't on your radar. Like, why try and finish?
Like at the end of the day, like it's my contracts depend on results and stuff. Like and still, even though if it wasn't a podium finish, if I could be in that top 5, which I was in that top 5 area, it still does look decent on paper, and I could still kind of hold my head high if I cross the finish line and say, yeah, for the pain I've just put up with and the wrist not being 100% and still broken, it still kind of looks decent on paper to me anyway, for sure. And it still just shows to the team with Red Bull KTM and anyone else. At the end of the day, you're always fighting to try and keep your ride. Really, there's always someone that's not at the back of the field, but there's always someone next in line behind you that wants your seat and wants your spot. So, like when you put it to the whole world, there's only 4 factory KTM motorcycles that have position. There's only 4 seats. So,
and obviously
I can be easily replaced, no problem. Like
and they're the best bike. Like, you don't, at this point, especially with failures that we've seen, like, you don't really want to be riding another bike than a KTM at this point.
Pretty much,
or a Husky, because they're the same thing.
The same thing basically, but it's 18 in a row. That just shows how strong the bike is, and it's
but it's not just the bike; it's like the whole thing.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like the whole crew, the whole team, the whole setup, everything that goes there, from people back in the factory to the people that are actually at the race, to the setup, to then the bikes, and then to their riders. Like it's a big chain reaction, big chain effect. So there's so many factors that go into it for sure, but it's like I just, like I say, I just wanted to finish the damn thing and just be, if I could be in top 5, like I was going to be over the moon and stoked with that. So I never expected a win, but now with pushing through, I'm so damn glad I pushed through. Like it worked out at the end of the day, and it now just shows that like I'm definitely a force that gonna be there every day, and no matter what, how bad the day's gonna get, I'm gonna put up with it and try and get to the finish line. And it's just, I think that is gonna be a big confidence boost to me, and I think that's a bit of a confidence breaker for the other riders. Like that's, so it's like I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they're sitting at home going like, shit, we just
like I can't beat this dude.
We just didn't beat this dude, and he just had a broken wrist. Like that was broken 5 weeks ago, but for sure as hell at the moment it's not healed. Just hopefully that's a bit of a confidence breaker. But like at the end of the day, I could go into the next rally next year and do the same thing, get lost and be 100% perfectly healthy and fit, no problem.
Yeah, and lose.
And I lose a race because I made one navigation error. So there's so many factors in it that can just change the whole race. But we just put a good consistent rally together over the whole 10 days, and it just we situated ourselves in the best spot possible, and it worked out. So it's cool.
There's something to be said, like what you just said. I really do believe in the fact that like once you overcome something once, and then you're like, "Oi, kind of found something here. Like this was less than ideal, but I still did it." And then it's like, so say that day 3 when you're like want to quit, and then you're like, it's just like, all right, I'll just do this. If I can get here. And it's just like this constant like leapfrogging of yourself.
Yeah.
But then you start to get this effect of like, well, I keep checking boxes. Like, what's to say I can't just keep doing it? Just
can't keep checking those boxes that I'm doing every day at the moment. If I just keep checking them, I think hopefully something good at the end of it's going to come out. Like, and that was pretty much about it. And it was just like a snowball effect. It just kept rolling on, and every day it was just like I come back in, and like I say, I think I finished stage 7, and it was like where the position I finished was the best possible spot that you could be in to start stage 8, to then being that result that I finished in stage 8 was the perfectly best spot you could be in to start stage 9, to be in front. Because the stage 9 was a mass start with like basically the 10 dudes that I was battling for the ride with, like for the overall with, and all I really had to do was just like stay with them and just gauge off them. So stage 9 for me was a little bit easier because I sat behind the guys, kind of they did the navigation and whatnot, but everywhere they went, like I could see if they dropped off something, or if they were climbing something, or if they hit like a small bump kicker. Like I was able to adjust and get away from it, or not hit it as hard or fast. And all those ridges, like how coming back to where Pablo had his crash, like going over those ridges. Next thing, if you see one guy hit the brakes really hard, then you know something's coming. Like it's all on, but like. It's all off, sorry. So then if you see a guy, he chops off the throttle, and then next thing he just winds the thing back on and he's full gas and going again, like that little bit of a chop off in the throttle doesn't feel like much when you do it yourself, but when you're behind someone and you just see him chop off, then straight back on the throttle, you know you can be full gas wide open, and you make so much ground on them. Like it literally... It feels like they've just sat still for 2 seconds, and you just then straight on the back of them, and then you can kind of back off, get them, let it get away again, and then they go over to the next one, do the same thing, and it's just like you can literally just feel like you're kind of cruising for the day when you've got somebody in front of you. So
because it's like the thinking that they have to do that you don't have to do,
that I don't have to do. Like they're like, oh, I wonder what's on the other side. I wonder what's on the side. Then they back off. Oh no, we're good. Full gas again. And then it's like, for me, it's just like, all right, yep, he's still there. I can still see him. It's just not dropped off, and it's just wide open, and kind of just taking in the cruise and taking in the ride and the views a little bit. So it's, like I say, it just situated as perfect in every stage, and when then we were able to try and hold her off on stage 10, but that was about the thing of Dakar Rally, mate, and it's just normal chaos and carnage of it all.
Yeah, kind of normal, I guess.
Sometimes.
The fact that you, broken wrist and still won, it's probably not been done by too many people.
It's always normal.
So what's the plan then now? Like you're going to be doing some media stuff the next few days or whatever, and then obviously the Australia Day party. Is Judd coming up?
I'd say so.
Fuck, I hope he does.
I hope so.
Yeah, so, but what, like, I guess shit's up in the air with you because of the wrist. Like,
Yeah.
you really need to know, but, like, you kind of can take some time off now, right, for a bit?
Yeah, like a little bit for sure. Like it's like I say, you're complaining about me not fixing my haircut up. At the moment, I still haven't been to the doctors because of the media stuff all day today.
Yeah, but your haircut affects me.
Yeah.
Your wrist doesn't, man.
I think
your
it affects
haircut
the whole of
affects
Australia
me.
at the
it
moment.
affects
So
everybody.
that's for sure. It's just not the wrist that affects me, and that's it. So the haircut affects everyone, but
Don't be
that's it.
selfish.
Yeah, I know. I need to fix it up. Sorry, guys. I'll get onto it, but. Yeah, no, like I say, I haven't been to the doctors yet to go and get a scan or an x-ray, which I think tomorrow will be the day, if I can get an appointment to go and get the scans and x-rays between some media stuff and that still tomorrow. We'll go and do that, and then tomorrow, if that all goes to plan, then we'll be able to make a game plan what goes on from there then. So if it's nothing major, which, damn, fingers crossed, it's not nothing major, and it's just basically I've got to put my arm in a splint for a little bit and just keep it still and just let it rest and get figured out, then that's what we've got to do. And then just got to take a little bit of time off and just try to just catch up on everything that I need to do, and just some like sponsorship appearances and things like that, and just running around. And but yeah, like if I go to the doctors tomorrow and he says, mate, nothing's moved and nothing's out of the way and whatnot, yeah, it's sore, but yeah, you're still good. But mate, it's full steam ahead for sure. I'll still give it some time off and a bit of a break, but mate, I don't like sitting still, so it's just if I can be racing a bike tomorrow, I'll race it. If I can race a car tomorrow, I'd race it. If I'm race a camel tomorrow, I'd race on a camel. Like, it's just I don't care, whatever gets thrown our way, I'd have a crack at it and go. But it's just playing on this thing a little bit at the moment. We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be a full year ahead, like as usual, if all goes to plan. And so I got the 5 rounds of the World Championship on motorcycle, again with the Red Bull KTM guys, basically Dakar in 2020. Which is 350 days away from the start. So, but no one's counting, so it's all good. And then Team Triton, basically, yeah, I'm going to kind of do some more of the races with that again this year.
Do you think you'll try and do Baja again with Bryce?
I hope so. Definitely would really love to try and do Baja 1000 again with Bryce.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's another whole podcast, yeah, we could definitely talk about. That was the kind of like for I guess the end of 2018, that was pretty much winning the World Championship and the Baja 1000 to go with Bryce and race there was like pretty much my 2 biggest highlights of the year, and pretty much of my career and stuff as well, aside from the Dakar win in 16. But to be a part of a program like that with Bryce Menzies and stuff was pretty damn badass. Like that thing was like he just built that all brand new all-wheel drive trophy truck. That's basically I don't know. You really can't compare it to anything. It's way better than a Ferrari and a Lamborghini. Like, it's just that truck is the best thing that's on 4 wheels in off-road racing at the moment by far. And for him to like let me wheel and drive that thing with him and have him trust in me to not destroy this thing on him, because like I say, it's brand new to him. This truck's only done now 2 races. So I think he did Vegas to Reno in it, and then Baja 1000 was its very next outing, and so I was pretty much nearly the second, third person at the wheel of this thing. So it was that thing's like bit over 1,000 odd horsepower, all-wheel drive, about meter odd worth of the suspension in it. It's a 6-speed sequential paddle shift truck. Like it is like the finest built truck that you can be in the world for sure. Like it's crazy. So every panel on that thing even down to like the throttle, like the foot throttle. It's like basically shaped to his foot, and we basically got both the same size foot. It's carbon fiber. Like it's every panel that holds like a wire in place with bolt and screw. The little clip part is carbon fiber. Like it is one hell of a damn expensive trophy truck. I'm guessing on figures for sure around $1 million odd plus, a little bit plus, to build that thing, and to let him have confidence in me to wheel the thing, which, like I say, I don't really have too much four-wheel experience and whatnot to show that. But we've been able to podium a couple of races and stuff on four wheels and do some stuff there. It was pretty amazing experience. But like I say, we can definitely do another podcast on that and talk about that whole thing.
I haven't even really spoke to you about that. I should get Maddie on that with you as well. Maybe we'll do that in the new studio. Yeah,
for sure. Get Maddie in as well, because Maddie came over with it all, and Dave and stuff. But Maddie's a little bit more easily accessible and stuff. And but they get that whole program, like, mate. Realistically, there's so much stuff that those guys take down there. Like, it's Menzies own basically a whole hotel complex that they basically bought, and they shut the doors to it for the whole year, except for 3 times a year, which they use it for the San Felipe 250, the Baja 500, and the Baja 1000. And then other than that, the hotel just sits there empty, but it's fully furnished, ready to house anybody there. They have like 6 odd chase trucks that have basically almost nearly any spare part that is on that trophy truck inside them trucks for all the pit stops down there. There's 2 odd big parts trucks that like carry all the fuel drums and stuff like that down there. They then take 3 pre-runners down there. So there's Bryce just pretty much redone and rebuilt his whole pre-runner that he drives, which I think is a Raceworks built chassis and based off the Ford Raptor body and whatnot.
Those things are so sick.
Those things, like, literally the best
truck in Australia. It would not be as good as the pre-runners that they use.
100%. It's like it's literally a race truck, because
Jesse's ones are sick too.
Jesse Jones ones are sick as and amazing as well. Like he virtually has the same thing as what Bryce has got, and Jesse's got 2 of them as well. So at one point there, like, it was just crazy to see that there was 6 pre-runners, 2 trophy trucks, chase trucks, vehicles. Like Bryce, he flies down there in his jet. So he's got his jet sitting at the airport that he flew down in. But at the end of the day, all this stuff, all this money that's sitting there, like, Bryce is just like a normal everyday dude as well. Like, it's,
you add on top, like, I've only met him one time. Nicest dude ever.
Nicest dude you can meet. Yeah. Like, it just, and the whole family like that. Steve's unreal. And that's like, for them guys to have the confidence in me for the amount of money that was sitting there. That's
a tip of the cap to you, for sure.
Tip of the cap for sure as well. So there's my Dakar wins, and then pretty much the tip part of it was probably about there, to whereas, like, even though we didn't win, but just to be wheeling that thing and being a part of that crew and team and stuff was, like, definitely, it's another huge big highlight to my whole life, really. So it's cool, really rad crew, team, like mechanics and everything like that. We all got along well. They all love the Aussie lingo. The best one they think they picked up was, "Hey mate, it's too easy, no problem." so I think they still now just tag things in here and stuff here and there, and mate, it's too easy. You've got this sorted, mate. They're even like sending that to me through Dakar, and it's like, too easy. You're good. You're going well, mate. It's all good. So. I think that's the other part too, is just love having that Aussie lingo in it and cruise along from there. But like I say, we'll save that one for another podcast, and we'll explain it into a whole bit more of a depth of that whole thing, and give them boys some recognition for what badass stuff that they do.
Here's a plan.
No, don't make plans.
Here's a plan. You will like this plan.
Plans don't work.
No, mate. This is a good plan. This is one of my better plans. Bryce Menzies, what you need to do, all right? You take that jet, you fly here in time to be here for Saturday. Saturday is Australia Day. Is it Saturday? Is it Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday. Saturday's Australia Day.
So he's got time.
Yep.
So if he leaves, when would it be? He needs to leave Thursday.
Yep.
In the US. So he's got time. He flies here. We send it for Australia Day. And then you and Bryce jump on the podcast together to talk
on
about...
On Sunday, mate, where we all full
No,
gas.
not on Sunday. Let's do like a Tuesday podcast.
A few beers, we can explain a whole lot more.
Yeah, hair of the dog.
Yeah, hell yes. We'll be definitely second hand when being dragged through the desert for sure, but we'll explain some damn good stories down there. So
Bryce, that's a call out. That's an official call out for you to jump.
And then the other official call out for Bryce as well is he's got to come here and race Fink.
Do Fink for sure.
That's now, mate. That's the least I can kind of do for him now and repay him. Is that for sure as hell.
Wheel it.
I want to do the double thing at Fink and want to win that thing at Fink. We're still in the plans a little bit with that. Whether we'll race Fink with the 2 wheels and stuff out there at the moment, but at the end of the day, I'll easily 100% give up that seat of my truck for him to come over here and wheel that thing in Fink. And I don't like being passenger, don't like being bitch, but I will jump in the passenger side to that and run him through Fink if he's willing and wanting to do it. So it's just... I definitely want to be racing the thing myself for sure, but I'm sure I think
that
at
would
the end of the day,
so sick to see him come and do that.
It's definitely for letting me do what I did over there. I think it definitely could be the least of the things I could do for him back over here. So it's call outs there. I've definitely mentioned it to him a few times, and
now this is like
now it's on
super
podcast.
Official,
now it's like definitely official. So
we're like 7 people will listen to this.
Yeah,
so.
what you did a live cross before and we had 7 people listen. We're sweet.
Like,
we're good. We're dialed, mate. So
it was like 9.
Yes, hitting the big numbers, mate. Wait till you hit double figures.
I know. I'm waiting.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll buy you a Happy Meal for when you do that. So
build your own, as Pete would ask for.
Yeah, I'll splurge out, mate. I'll build you one, mate. It's all right. I'll build your own.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up here for this one.
Thank God. Get me
mate,
off.
You haven't shut up this whole time. I've barely said anything. I've been getting heaps of shit for talking too much, so I just wanted to sit here and
shut up then and
yeah,
piss off.
You're with everybody else.
Yeah,
shut up.
Shut up. Yeah, you talk too much shit. Exactly.
Toby's like, I've been saying this for years.
Yep, 100%.
Been saying it for years. Get him off.
No one listens.
Nah, thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries, brother.
I can't even talk shit on this one. You did good, mate.
It's about bloody time you actually didn't talk shit about me. So
you did good. You did good. I don't have nothing. I got nothing. Nah, thanks for coming on.
Good.
I know you've
and that's
got
very
a lot of
rare because this guy always talks a lot of shit. So,
big time. Got nothing for you. All I've got is love this time. It's a weird feeling.
That is a very fucking weird feeling. I really don't know.
That's as scary as your head.
Yeah, I'm speechless to that. I don't know what to say when you actually say love. I didn't think that word would ever come out of your mouth.
Just only got love for you on this one. I've only got love for you.
All right, that's me to leave. That's my cue out.
All right, thanks for coming on, bro.
Cheers, mate.